It's clobbering time! Clobberonimo!
Yeah, Clobberonimo indeed. Welcome, my friends. Greetings, clobberers and clobberonimos and clobberoids and clobberooskies and clobberettes and whatever you clobber. So happy to see you.
Clobnosticators.
Clobnosticators, we'll allow it.
Clobberonimo!
Thank you. That's what we wanted to hear. We love that. Thank you, number one. My good friends, welcome to Clobbering Times, issue number 530 on YouTube, number 1,230 overall, and Saturday Night Star Trek number 108. And it's DS9 review, so we're just full of numbers this evening, aren't we? Oh, my goodness. Speaking of numbers, what a numbery crowd we have here with us tonight. What a great bunch. I'm so happy to see you all. This is what we just look for. Look forward to this every week, hanging out with you, and it is going to be some fun stuff tonight, folks. I guarantee. I'm sorry, I'm distracted a little bit because I'm writing down names, but because I like to write your names
Shooter
down.
says Club Conquistadors.
What'y?
Club Conquistadors.
Okay.
I think that's good.
Sure.
That would fit in with
I like that.
Club and Sancho Panza.
I like that. I like it. I like it. So, anyway, everyone, you know her, you love her, you can't live without her because I know I can't. Say hello to the most wonderful first officer in the fleet, the amazing Commander R.M. Briggs. Hello, my dear. I love you.
I love you too. That was so sweet. You're so kind to me. I love you so much. I am so looking forward to tonight, and I just want to say, hail to our marvelous chat. I'm so looking forward to the wonderful conversations that we all create together. All of your comments mean the world to Clubby and I, and we're super excited to hear what you have to say about these 4 episodes. Very quickly, because I am a starving artist, I have to shout out the wonderful people on my Patreon who support me as an author. So I want to shout out Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Larry, Tony Stark, Chris Persia, Scuba Pete, Eric K and Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Jilly, and of course, Maximum Redstone. If you like classic science fiction and you like episodic science fiction, please buy my book. And thank you to all of my supporters. And before I put the control back over to the boss, I just want to say, Clubby, I love you. Thank you for creating this space for us. This is like the best part of my week, spending Saturday with you and all of our friends. And I love you very much. And yay!
Oh, well, I love you, and I'm so happy to be here. And we love our good friends here in the chat who are hanging out with us, and or lurkers or watching on reruns, wherever you are. Clobbering Times and the Clobbering Times crew loves you, my friends. Oh my goodness, what a great time we're gonna have tonight. Had a great time last week, and it gets better and better. What a great chat we have here. Let me see. Show notes. Let's see, nothing particular, just the standard run. I know I don't know if Mark D with the C's hanging out tonight, or he'll probably pop in later, but tomorrow night I do believe he will have the Sunday night geekery, and if he does, I shall be there 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, the usual shows at 9 p.m. Central on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, the Clubhouse, and of course, again, the following Saturday, of course, as always, we'll start Saturday Night Star Trek. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm over hanging with the great Tom Connors on Midnight's Edge After Dark as an honored guest. Loki and I like to have a little fun on the Clubhouse, listen to me, the round table, rather, on Wednesday nights at 7 and Central. And then 8:30 Central on Friday nights, the great Nick Weiser and the Friday Night Comic Shop gang. So I'm all over the place. Yes. And this Monday night will be a comic topic of some sort on Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk. So that is basically only the show notes we have. Let us start out with our shout outs so we can get down to business, to reviewing some episodes.
Let's do it.
The aforementioned great Eric K.
And Kirby.
And the Pepperoni.
Hi, Kirby. Everybody put some cheese in the chat for Kirby. Curbs.
The great Chris Persia, Vindicator Wrench of the North.
Love you. Sending smooches for your whole face. Thank you for the marvelous show poster tonight on social media. Love you. Thank you, honey.
Appreciate you, sir. Like I said, whether which wrenches happen to be here or not at the moment, we always give them the shout outs. The great D-Bud Martin.
D-Bud!
The Wrench of Iron. Our Chief of Security, the great Lord Thoth. And a shout out to the lovely Lady Thoth. Avon lives, long live the Legion.
And Lancelot.
Too.
Yay, Lancelot!
Yay, the doggy.
Please, put some cheese in there for Lancelot.
My partner in crime on Earth be the Wrench Without Fear, the great J-Man. J-Man, buddy. I wish I got to see more of your great show tonight. And anyone who has not, please, J-Man, put the link to your great channel in there if you're still hanging out with us here, sir. You did a great show about Captain America number 100 tonight, and wish I could have been able to see it. I have to catch it on the rerun, but good to see you there, brother. Appreciate you.
And while you're there, please make sure that you follow through and go to Jason. His name is Jason in real life. Please go to his Amazon page, because his Amazon page reveals that he's an author and his wife is a poet, and he writes horror. So if you like the horror genre and you want to support an indie artist, please support Jason. He sure supports us. All of us. He's always in the background supporting everyone monetarily, through evaluations, through just being there for us in every capacity. So, J-Man!
Big love to the J-Man and the master of the Cluboni, Hungry Boy, official artist of CT. Indeed, and cover artist of the great Science Fiction Tales by Lauren Briggs.
One of the nicest paintings ever in the whole world.
Kal-El, Super Wrench, buddy.
The real soup.
Wielder of Wrench Mjolnir, Maddie's daddy.
Maddie's daddy.
And of course, the great Phantom Outsider.
Fatty!
Fancy Outsidey. All righty. Let me see who else is with us. You'll see who was with us also tonight, our fantastic friends. First, shout out to anyone who is lurking. Thank you so much. Love having you here. We really appreciate it. And anyone who's watching either on a download or a rewatch, whatever. And that includes our great friend, Enigmatic Drop Bear, who could not make it tonight. And unfortunately, but things happen, and we love ED, and we will always miss you when you're not here, my buddy. So if you're hearing, he said we'll try to catch it later on a download. And if he does, if you're hearing this, ED, we always miss you. Big love to you, and whatever's going on, good luck to you out there.
Agreed.
And we will just keep the faith, buddy, and hopefully see you here next week.
Yep, you're going to be missed tonight, sweetheart.
Indeed. But we wanted to shout you out there because we really appreciate you, man. Let's see here. Shooter's here.
Pew, 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 pew.
What she said, Shooter. Stuart Mitchell, what's up, buddy?
Dolly hat braces.
That's right. Never forget. Let's see. Classic Comics, ACC.
CC.
Brian Hepburn.
Good evening, Brian.
Indeed. Pleasant Valley Picker. Hey.
Hello.
What is up, sir? Dave G Sound.
Dave G Sound.
Hey. Good to see you. SP4H. Welcome.
Ooh, SP4H.
Indeed. Gwagnar's here.
Gwagnar.
Always nice to have the ladies here. The lovely Lisa. Hello there, Lisa.
Hey, gorgeous. Oh, your food was good this week.
Was it? Good.
Oh, you should see the Twitter photos of her food. Lisa's cooking up a storm.
Oh, okay. Nice. Let's see here. The great master of all that is limerick, Maximum Redstone. He is, of course,
Maximum Limericks.
I have decided he is now entertainment officer of the USS Clobby Prize.
Oh, nice. I will go and visit him in 10 Forward, and we'll drink something that's green.
He's green. He is the entertainment officer. So that's a tough responsibility, but I know he's up to it. All right. Wolfie's here. Hey, Wolfie. Wolfie has some special treats for us tonight later.
Ooh.
John Rupas.
Hello, John.
Hey there, Shaggy, aka
Shaggy.
Shaggy. Let's see. Thank you, John, for being here. Snail Messiah, my friend. Good to see you. Rob Altus, old buddy, what's up? Good to see you there, my friend.
We love you, Rob.
Indeed. Boosh McFadden.
Whoosh!
Yes, indeed. Good to see you. Daniel's Hot Topics.
Hello.
Hey, Grim. Grim's here tonight. Well,
Evening, Grim.
Right. And so far, I don't have anyone else, but whoever pops in, of course, will be listed and shouted out accordingly, as we always do with all of our friends who show up with us tonight. So, with that, as the great Andre would say, he says it better than anyone because he says, and with that, but I can't even do it. I can't even do a good Andre impression, but shout out to Andre. He is
Andre's from Norway, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I can listen to that man talk. I can listen to that man talk all day. He and Tom are great friends.
They are good guys.
So let's see here. Is that like Kellout says? Is that like a morale officer that Neelix appointed himself as Voyager? No, not quite, because he's he entertains us. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, if he wants to call himself morale officer. I'll have to look into that. And we'll have to vet that. Let's see here. What was up? Okay. So, my friends, if you are new here tonight, anyone who is new here tonight, what we're doing and has been doing since the January of 2021 is we have embarked on the insane mission of reviewing all of real Star Trek. And what do I mean by that? You may ask, or you may not, but you're going to get the answer anyway. Real Star Trek, as you can see up there, 1966. As Raquel likes to say, it's technically 64, but as far as airing, on TV, 1966 to 2005. She calls it the 735 Club because there's seven. If you add up every segment, movies, and all 6 series, and then we are including the animated series in that, you get 735 pieces to the puzzle of Star Trek. Real deal.
Right.
Gene Roddenberry's creation, later bequeathed to others, but still Gene Roddenberry's creation. And we pay reverence to the great bird of the galaxy here for giving us Star Trek, and we thank him for it.
Yes.
Every week we should owe him thanks for giving us something as beautiful as Star Trek. So
That's right.
And as such, we celebrate his show. We started. Hey, the thing. What's
Ding,
up, buddy?
ding, 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 ding.
Ding, ding. We started by reviewing Star Trek, the original series.
We did.
Then we moved on to the animated series.
We did.
Then the original crew films.
Mm-hmm.
Then TNG, Star Trek, The Next Generation. And now we are currently almost, I guess, smack dab in the middle, give or take, of Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 5. And I will show you a little picture of our reference text, although we get the synopsis from other places, and then I will turn it over to our wonderful first officer, and she will explain what we're going to do. We're going to review 4 episodes, and take it away, number 1.
Okay, so yes, we are going to be reading from Wikipedia the plot. Okay, because Wikipedia is short and sweet and it gets to the point. But I don't want you going to user-generated. First of all, let me say I'm an academic, and I teach writing and communications and technology. So I should say that first. So it's not. If you're looking for real information on Star Trek, you're not going to find it on user-generated forms. That includes IMDb, the fact that the filth is now on Memory Alpha. All of these places have been polluted with the filth. And even prior to the filth, there was a lot of rumor and a lot of factoid in this user-generated environment. There's a lot of factoid in Star Trek. And so it's very important that you get a vetted text. And what do I mean by a vetted text? What I mean by a vetted text is Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion, which is written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block. They go to the original source people. So they go to the directors, the producers, the actors, everyone involved, and they ask questions, and then they put it in this lovely publication. So we have all of this information straight out of the horse's mouth. It's not somebody's memoir that was put on IMDb and retold 50 million different times until it becomes something else, like the game Broken Telephone. It's the real deal. Unfortunately, Terry J. Erdman goes on for a long time when he discusses these episodes. So we don't get that short, sweet, right to the point like Paula M. Block does. Paula M. Block's books on Star Trek are second to none. If you can get your hot little hands on a Paula M. Block Star Trek book, you're talking about gangsta stuff, the good stuff, because it's all original source material. She gets straight to the point. Here on this podcast, we do not have time to read out 15 A1 size or is it A1 or A4 size pages of info. So we have to read from Wikipedia. But we strongly discourage you from sharing information from these user-generated websites because a lot of it is just flat out wrong. It's either a lie, a full exaggeration, or it's just incorrect. So that's why we're referencing this text. If you are out there and you want to have some information on DS9 and you want to make sure that it's true and you want the juicy stuff, you want to know what happened behind the scenes, go to Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion, written by Terry J. Erdman and Paula M. Block.
Well, excellent. Hey, guess who's here?
Who? Where?
Got to call him Scuba Pete.
Oh, no, he's good. Pete and Leslie, you're here. I shouted you out earlier. I love you, Pete's.
Yes, indeed, Ishness. Well, we're ready for our first episode of the evening.
We are, boss. We are.
All right. Well, our first episode tonight is, of course, For the Uniform.
Yeah, and did we explain? Maybe I'll just quickly explain. So if you're new here, Cuz is here.
Dave Rayborn, what's up, Cuz?
Hey, Dave.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, just a quick word on the format. We do this show quite a lot, so sometimes I think we forget to say this. So I'm just going to rattle this off quickly. I read the summary, the little synopsis from the Wikipedia. If it's wrong, we correct it. We get right on top of it. But then you should know something. Clobby and I individually have over 40, 45 years of watching Star Trek under our belts. So we talk about the episode together, but this is a completely organic show. We don't discuss the episodes beforehand, and we don't read anything to prepare for it. So this is all organic, and there's a reason for that. We then fully engage the chat in a conversation about the episode, and we put those wonderful things that they say up on the marquee. We ask you to please only have 4 or 5 things if you want to string them together, 1 of 2, 2 of 2, 3
That
of 2.
helps. It helps us.
Yeah, it helps immensely. And then go ahead and give it a rating. And around here, because I'm a college instructor, I used to be a college instructor, everyone gives a college answer, a college grade for it. So, A, B, C, D. So you're welcome to do that. And if you have never done that before, please jump in. Please feel free. You want to know why? You are in a room full of adult people who are incredibly kind. We have the best wrenches on the internet. We don't have trolls and weirdos here. These are wonderful adults, experts at Star Trek, who want to engage in intelligent conversations about making this show, creating this show, what happens on this show. So please feel free to jump in. You're more than welcome to jump in. We'd love to have you. And
Wait,
that's
are you saying Scuba Pete's not a weirdo?
Well,
you calling him an adult? Wow.
Well, I don't know. I'm not really an adult, am I?
He's way more adult than I am. Sorry, Scuba. I was gonna throw that one at Max, but you were right there, Scuba. So I just said, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Max, you'll get the next insult, I promise.
Yes, the next one's for Max. Okay, so the boss has put up one of his marvelous show posters. And if you're joining us in the vehicle, you're driving in your car, and so you can't see the visuals, all you're hearing is this, radio version of this show. The boss just put up one of his beautiful handmade posters. He makes them on his phone every week, and it's just terrific. It is a photo. And it has Eddington on one side, and Cisco on the other, Deep Space Nine in the middle, and it says, "For the uniform."
Yes, indeed.
And For the Uniform is season 5, episode 13. And we all watched this for the very first time on February 3rd, 1997. The production code for this one is 511. Okay, so let's stay copyright compliant by saying once again that I will be reading from Wikipedia extemporaneously. Totally cold read. Let's do it. Cisco encounters Michael Eddington, his former Starfleet security chief, who betrayed him and joined the Maquis. Obsessed with capturing the traitor, Cisco pursues him in his ship, the USS Defiant. But when Cisco gives the order to fire, the Defiant experiences a massive computer failure caused by Eddington. He leaves Cisco angry and humiliated and facing a long trip home. The Defiant is towed back to Deep Space Nine by the starship Malinche, I think it is. And Chief O'Brien begins the massive job of bringing the ship back online. Adding insult to injury, Cisco learns that Captain Sanders of the Malinche has been... Pardon?
They were saying Malinche, but yeah.
Is it? Yeah, I think it's French, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just a Canadian.
I don't know either. I was just going by the way they said it. So go ahead.
Yeah. But we all know if you're one of those people, I just want you to know now that there are, I believe, either 2 or 3 books just completely dedicated to all of the mispronunciations that they do on Star Trek. And people have actually written whole books on it. I believe 2 or 3 people have. So pick one of those up. Anyway, have been given the assignment to apprehend Eddington, since Star Trek has lost faith in Cisco's ability to do the job. But when he learns that Eddington is attacking Cardassian colonies with a weapon that renders planets uninhabitable to Cardassians, the Malinche is too far away to intercept him. Cisco sees his chance, and although the Defiant is not yet fully repaired, he and his crew take the ship back into space. The ship lurches out of the station and soon encounters Eddington again. Eddington taunts Cisco by sending him a copy of the novel Les Miserables and comparing Cisco to the obsessive policeman Javert, or Javert, as they would say in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, let's keep going. The captain realizes too late that he was bailed to false coordinates. Oh, that's baited. Sorry, I have bad vision. As the crew sets off to find Eddington's real location, a distress call is received from the Malinche. Maquis forces have ambushed and disabled the ship. Cisco determines Eddington's next planetary target, but it's too late to stop him from releasing his weapon into the atmosphere. The Defiant chases after Eddington's fleeing ship, but Eddington cripples a transport vessel evacuating Cardassian civilians, forcing Cisco to break off his pursuit and rescue the helpless Cardassians. Cisco realizes that Eddington sees himself as a noble hero, and Cisco as an obsessed villain. In order to stop Eddington, Cisco decides he must do something truly villainous. He prepares to poison the atmosphere of the Maquis colony in retaliation and reveals his sinister plan to all. Eddington is prepared to call his bluff. Cisco orders the deadly torpedoes launched, and the Maquis scramble to evacuate. Cisco says that he is prepared to eliminate every Maquis colony in the demilitarized zone, and Eddington, realizing Cisco is serious, makes the heroic gesture of offering himself in exchange. Eddington is captured, and Cisco's vendetta is finally over. And that is all Wikipedia has to say about For the Uniform. And now, Captain, my captain, mon capitaine, please tell me, what did you think of For the Uniform?
First, shout out to Herc 130. Thank you for being here. And a big shout out to our great buddy, JT Kirk. He has to lurk tonight, but I hope you're still hearing this. JT, always good to have you here, my buddy. And,
nice to see everyone. JT Kirk!
Jill's here.
Oh, Jilly, hello. Oh,
Jilly.
yes, I know that, Eric. I was just making a joke, like the Colbert guy made the joke. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. I hate it. I'll tell you why I hate it.
Okay.
I hate this guy. I almost cursed. I hate this freaking episode because I don't want to hate Cisco.
Right.
I love Benjamin Cisco.
Right.
I actually look, and I'm one of those weird. I like Eddington. I mean, the story is interesting drama. I kind of like Eddington. I like that he turned out to be this. In other words, I don't like Maquis stories, but as Maquis stories go, it's not bad or anything. But what I hate about it is Cisco's solution is to become a villain, and be villainous. It's not like some kind of trick, like Kirk might let a guy think he's doing something bad, just to trick him maybe or something. Larry's here.
Hey, Larry!
Good to see you. I don't like. I guess I just don't like Maquis episodes. I guess I just don't like any of this crap where they make me choose between my heroes. Now there's an episode way down the road where Cisco flirts with something like that I think they do a very good job with.
Mm-hmm.
This is not.
Gotcha.
I don't really like the character compromise like that. Look, it's good drama. Don't worry about it, Pleasant Valley Pickards. It's good stuff as drama goes. It's just not what I really want from my Star Trek. And I don't like my heroes tainted like that. And whatever else he is, I don't like this happening to Cisco. It's why my problem with the episode. But that's just me. Any your notes. Go on with notes.
Okay, so here are my notes. I strongly dislike Maquis episodes. Why is the captain of a space station widely known as a prophet messiah in this sector out hunting a terrorist undercover? He's not even in uniform. So we're to believe that he's out hunting a terrorist in a place where people widely call him a prophet and consider him a messiah. So he's not undercover. That's ridiculous. Then we find out that it's actually his entire senior staff, and it's the entire senior staff of a space station, and they're out hunting a terrorist, and they've been doing it for 8 months. So it's revealed in episode that it was 8 months. So here's his senior staff. We have Worf, we have Jadzia, we have Kira, and we have Cisco, and they're all aboard the Defiant, and they've been trying to hunt him down for 8 months. I think it's preposterous. Also, they explain that Starfleet has a backup and that the backups are gone. Miles O'Brien has taught us a long time ago that Starfleet has triple backups, not just one or two. And that is why he has to rip out a lot of things from Terok Nor in order to make it DS9. Here we see the push for holographic projection for obvious reasons that I can't discuss because I don't want to discuss spoilers. But here we see it. We see it really heavily used here. The ship isn't really. This ship isn't ready trope. This is borrowed from TOS. It's kind of cool because we go old style submarine. And I do enjoy the fact that that they have to call to one another as though they're deep underwater in an Earth submarine. I enjoy that. It's important to say, certainly as a scholar, I have to say that Eddington has never read Les Miserables, and neither has Peter Allen Fields, the person who wrote this episode, because he says that Eddington says that Les Mis is his favorite book by Victor Hugo. No one on this in the DS9 writers' room read this book. The cop, Javert, doesn't chase Jean Valjean for stealing a piece of bread. That's not true. Jean Valjean stole the piece of bread and shared it, and he went to jail for it, and he spent his time. So he's on parole. Jean Valjean actually humiliates Javert in front of his colleagues, in front of other cops, and in front of people in the public. And so he wanted to destroy Jean Valjean out of revenge for his bruised ego. And I note that this is bizarre because it would have worked if used correctly. So Les Mis would have worked correctly instead of incorrectly if they just would have read it. It very much fits that Cisco wants revenge for humiliation. So if they actually would have read the book, they could have used the Javert, but they would have had to, address the fact that he had already paid for his crime of stealing bread. So, and then I wrote underneath, how sad, another borrowed story, another failed drama. So if you're going to write drama, I think you should write really good drama. And if you're not going to write sci-fi and you're going to say, but we're drama authors, well, then maybe you should actually write proper drama. So you borrowed Les Mis and you never read it.
Hey, Mega Cropper, welcome. Good to see you.
Mega Cropper!
Hey, long time no see. Give me a subby.
So disappointing because, it's silly because the entire show is an homage. Boy, there's lots of French in this episode, isn't there? I'm even saying homage. Is an homage to Les Miserables. And it is being correctly used because Cisco wants revenge for humiliation. He suffered this horrible humiliation in front of Starfleet, in front of everybody, because Eddington pulled the wool over his eyes and committed all of these crimes. And yet, there Eddington is saying that Cisco is a Javert because he stole bread, and that's not what happened at all. So,
read the book if you're going to reference it on a TV show.
Yeah,
just a thought.
Yeah. And Jill says, "Let me guess, Tuesday. Love it, baby, love it."
Yeah. That was. I guess it was just. I don't know. It's a little convenient. It was well done. That some of that stuff with the ship, them having to do all that crazy, just all that stuff to get the ship running and stuff. It's just got a little tiresome to me after a while. The whole episode's a little tiresome to me because the Maquis, we've talked about it before, don't really work for me when it comes to Trek. I don't like it. It's good drama, no question about it. I understand why people enjoy it. It's good character stuff. Cisco, I don't know. They're gonna let him get away with it. Of course, he gets away with it because, he accomplished the mission. But it just puts Starfleet and Federation in too bad of a light for me. I just don't like it. Again, I think my quarrel is more like the episode itself is doing something. The writers are doing something I don't really want in my Star Trek, rather than say it's badly done. It's not badly done. It's good acting and all that other kind of stuff. It's good drama, but I'm not thrilled with it. So anyway. What is your rating of For the Uniform?
I'll give my rating in 2 eggs of a puppy's tail. I just quickly looked up Malinche, and it's
Uh-huh.
Spanish. So if we have any
Mhm.
Spanish speakers out there, if they could tell me exactly how to say it, that would be great. And yeah, for saying that it was about stealing bread and making an entire episode about La Miserable and then not knowing the actual story or actually reading it, it doesn't matter to me that some of it is rendered quite well and that it is a decent drama. I guess if you've never read the book and don't mind watching the book, but a poor version of the book that misrepresents what's actually happening in the book, I mean, whatever. C minus.
Okay. Hey, Pod Racing Palpatine, good to see you. I'm gonna go with a D. I'm just gonna again. Maybe I don't really hate it as much as it sounds, but it doesn't work for me on so many levels. It's really just not really into the whole Maquis thing. It's well done in some ways, but I don't buy Cisco being that way personally. But maybe others do, and that's all fine and good. But anyway, hello, Pod Racing Palpatine, good to see you. Now, my friends, I will ask you, my good friends in the chat, please. Right, any ratings you may have for the episode For the Uniform, and any words you might have. And number one will star those while I bring us some Max Redstone entertainment. Hello there, the Tetrarch of Apathy. Hey there.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you. And Chris, Persia, get out of my head. That's exactly what I thought. I was actually going to put that in my notes. So get out of my head. I love you. Okay, I'm going to go silent, everyone, while the boss reads, and I am going to star all of your lovely comments.
By the way, Kal-El, that's fine. You're okay for that, man. You know, it's you, buddy, so it's all right. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm getting it now. We're gonna have some great Max Redstone entertainment. I just have to fetch it here. Sorry. Let's see. Where are you? Okay. All right. So, for those who don't know, we have a great friend, Max Redstone, often regales us with absolutely extraordinary limericks about episodes of the ones we're reviewing of an evening. And now I will bring you some. Let's see here. For the Uniform by Max Redstone. Mr. Eddington's having a great time poisoning Cardassian plants with biogenic slime. But Cisco's poisoned replies make poor Michael realize he screwed up the whole Le Miserable paradigm. Well, paradigm. No. Paradigm. Let's say paradigm, so it'll rhyme. Well done, Max Redstone. Sorry you had someone as incompetent as me reading it for you, but there you go. Thank you, buddy. Let's see here. All right. Now, for our reviews, Michael Beacom, our good buddy Michael Beacom, is not here yet. But he said he's going to try to make it later. But he does have a review of the first episode of the evening. And he says for the Uniform, he goes, A. He gives it an A. So if anyone of you feeling left out just because we don't like it, don't worry, you're okay. Because Michael Beacom is a man who's we respect everyone's opinion, of course. But there you go. And his opinion is not given. His A's are not given lightly. He says A for the one story, no B plot. Oh, he's giving it an A just because it's got one story, no B plot, which is interesting. Lots of Starship porn. I'm not supposed. I don't want to say that word, but Starship P prawn. I don't want to say that word. That's algorithmy. Just wonderful. He loves it. And Captain Cisco shows he has more spine than Picard. Loved his angry workout with Dax. Not sure what Gene would have thought about a starship captain using weapons of mass destruction to render a planet uninhabitable, but it was done. It was done in a way where we know he was balancing it with Cardassian losses, less than thrilled with the hollow display, and but they had to have Cisco and Eddington play off each other and didn't want to copy Wrath of Khan. Be there as soon as I can, he says. So he has the same quandary I have with Cisco but it did not deter him from enjoying the episode, which is fair enough. So the great Michael Beacom liked it, and he's fine with it. I think the reasons he gave is just too much for me, but I trust Michael big time on that. Mega Cropper says A minus. All right, Mega Cropper. It's good to see you back, Mega Cropper. Wagnar says C. It felt like they wanted to do a Rat the Con type literary reference, but didn't quite understand why it worked in Star Trek 2. Well, that's a fair cop. Our wonderful friend Jill says B minus. My favorite aspect of this episode is the intense coordination of the Defiant crew that is required because of the crippling of the starship that also serves to help raise the stakes. I could definitely understand that, Jill. Eddington continues in Thomas Riker's tradition that the Maquis are a more effective threat when led by someone with Starfleet knowledge and tactics. Oh, absolutely, Ishness. Let's see. What is most disturbing and why I scored this a B instead of an A is that it seems Sisko uses Eddington's disabling of the Melanchi as but that name for that ship. Never mind. But yeah, excuse to destroy a Maquis raider. He does. It's true. He does destroy one of their raiders. Yeah. That and the unilateral decision he makes to poison a world. I typically support a captain making a decision without Starfleet, but this one is too big to have non-existent consequences, and that's what they were, non-existent. And yeah, it just doesn't work for me. Jill, I understand now. Eric K says F. Hated this hooray for the bad guy thing. I'm sorry. I couldn't see it. Hated this hooray for the bad guy. Puke. Sisko is one of the most recognizable here. Why does every officer leave the station? Yeah, that is so annoying.
Yeah, I knew that Eric would agree with me on that one, and Chris Persia will probably as well. I mean, talking about two science fiction fans, so it's kind of like, huh? This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't pass the sniff test.
Eddington might not kill innocents or guilty, but Sisko will kill both. No communication. By the way, how about when they said no transporters and then used transporters? Wasn't it at some when they said they named the list of things they won't have, and one of them was transporters? Did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, that is a mistake as well.
Because they said we won't have transporters, and later they have transporters.
Yep.
Eddington might not kill innocents or guilty, but Sisko will kill both. No communication. They said things on the bridge that then Nog using a comm to communicate. Yes, another one. They said there would be no communications. Exactly, Eric. Well, how was Nog using telepathy? I don't know. Eddington might know. Oh, I think wow, look, the same one's on there twice. That's strange. Yeah. It is.
Happens sometimes.
Look at that one. And then that one. That's weird.
I know. I get confused, so I just started. Everyone seems to be really confused about this name. So right after we wrap up, Eric, I can quickly tell you who this ship is named after.
That's the kind of thing, by the way, that they're talking about, what the transporters and the communication, that if I were the kind to take notes, that would have been in mine. I don't take notes. If I were to take notes, that would have been in there. I'm like, wait a minute. They said you can't have transporters, but now then they said they had transporters. Then
I was going to put that in my notes, but I got all wrapped up in the fact that the thing with Jean Valjean, I was like, what is he saying? He already served that time. He's on parole. Anyway.
Right. No, exactly. That was so much to care. That one in the communications. I could have swore they said we won't have communications.
I think they did, and I should have given this a D. I should have given this a D. C- is too high.
Well, I mean, look, Michael give it an A, so I mean, some people like it, I guess. Yeah. That's cool. Eric's got it an F. But you should have had him running back and forth. Communications were not down. Dumb. But you're right, though. They said communications were down, and they weren't.
It's true. Okay, so for everyone saying what's with this Malinche, apparently the ship was named after the interpreter who worked for Cortez. So in the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire, there was an interpreter and an advisor, an intermediary for the Spanish conquistadors, Cortez, and it was a woman, Nahua woman. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correct. I don't speak Aztec. But she was a Nahua woman, Nahua woman, who was an interpreter, advisor, and again, an intermediary for the Spanish conquistador Cortez. I can't say the last name correctly, so I'm just going to stop now.
I understand. Well, it's good info.
Well, when you see it written, it is weird to try and say it, right? If you don't speak Spanish or Aztec, right? So anyway.
Indeed. Well, our chief of security, Lord Thoth, says, C. I didn't hate this episode. Never really dug deep into the whole novel issues. I just thought it was a brilliant man against a brilliant man. Still hate the Maquis stuff, though. Thank you, LT. Let's see here. Wolfie says, B+. The manual operation of the Defiant is amazing. I love the idea that the crew still has to know how to operate a starship manually. That was cool. I mean, look, that was well done. Well, although very inconsistent, though, with some of the stuff that we mentioned. We see the USS Malinche non-refit Excelsior-class starship. This is a new 3-foot model built for the Voyager episode Flashback by Greg Jean. Oh, okay. Wow. We'll have some pics from Wolfie later.
Hey, Apollome's Minion and the Pupperoni are here.
Apollome, oh my goodness.
And the pepperoni.
Pup. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
And everyone in the chat's talking about the name of the ship. Yes, I would also like to know why they put in the interpreter for a Spanish conquistador in an episode that's all French. Like, if you really want to mess with someone's head, make an entire episode.
Why they name it the Hugo?
Yeah, like
Victor Hugo.
Anyway. That would have made so much more sense, Break out your ancient Aztec.
Maybe that'd have been too obvious. Yeah. Shooter says, we got Wolfie. I'm sorry, Shooter. I'm going to finish with Wolfie. Did we have Wolfie's second one?
You should.
Did I get rid of that one already? How many? Now I've lost track of what I did and didn't do for Wolfie.
Oh.
Hang on a second.
That's okay. We can read it.
Let me backtrack. No.
Go get the Wolfman.
I just want to make sure I got his.
Backtrack it.
I can backtrack it.
Backtracking across the universe. Well,
on the Starship Enterprise. Backtracking across the universe.
Okay, 4 of 4 is starred for Wolfie. 3 of 4 is starred for Wolfie.
What about 2?
2 of 4 is done. You read 2 of 4.
I did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. Because he's talking
about Greg, so I remember you.
Okay, gotcha.
So just go ahead and go right to 3 of 4.
No, we're good. And we're straight. Did I just totally forget that crap? I got to stop unstoring stuff. And I just a habit to try to unstore stuff to be tidy. It doesn't work. The reason this model was built was it was deemed impossible to convert original 1983 Excelsior refit model Enterprise B Lakota back to its original configuration as seen in Star Trek 3, 6, and TNG. Okay, it's a fair call. And the USS Malinche was likely named after Malitzin La Malinche, the enslaved native woman who acted as the primary interpreter for Hernan Cortez during his conquest of the Aztec Empire. At least we know Submariner didn't have anything to do with it. Shooter says, C+, the return of the Maquis and Mr. Eddington, because this is what we all wanted. Was Eddington always this deranged? what was with Les Miserables in this?
Yeah.
Not fond of that, were you? I don't blame you. What is what is the point of the ship hollow communicators? Seems rather redundant when the main display works perfectly well. Yeah, is this Star Wars bleeding in?
Well, there's something
Yeah, it
coming
seems like
that
it.
will make it relevant, but they push too
Right.
hard, too fast, and then it's sort of ham-handed.
Fair enough. Um, so there are two chemicals, both readily available, that will not only spread from a relatively small amount across an entire planet, but only affect one of two species, but not both. Yeah, right. That's also a very well made point there, Shooter. How
Boss
could you
man,
be
Keely Chow
it?
just walks through the door.
Hey, Chow, what is up, my friend? Roll Tide. Good to see you. All righty. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Also, Cisco decides to poison a Federation colony that can swap with the poisoned Kardashian. Kardashian, the way he does that colony.
Me too.
And then there was much rejoicing. Yay! I'm sure the colonists will be happy for the change.
The only thing is that Shooter is infectious. Like what the people say in the chat is infectious, because then I try to read it and Kardashian comes out instead of Cardassian. The chat has an effect on me. And Captain James T. Skywalker. Walks through the door. And welcome our wonderful chief engineer, Mark D. with us. Hey!
Ooh, never heard of that one.
I like that guy. That Mark D with a C.
What's up, buddy? The wonderful Lisa says B. A very deep psychological and geopolitical subjects. Cisco's lack of compassion is disturbing. He's willing to harm many to get his prize. Made me question, so do I support the treaty or the Maquis? Yeah, you know, Kirk's obsession was about a cloud that killed a bunch of people, and it was an alien being that was malevolent, and it seemed like it was. It was intelligent. It was scary. There was really, you know, Kirk's obsessive behavior in the great episode Obsession works, and it doesn't soil and sully the character. You know, what are you trying to do here? Turn Cisco into Khan, for God's sake? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. JT Kirk, buddy, says 7 nonsensical verses of Breen nursery rhymes out of 10.
JT Kirk!
I like it. Well said, sir. Pleasant Valley Picker says B-. A decent cat and mouse episode. Eddington sending a copy of the novel Les Miserables to Cisco brought about its downfall. Eddington's arrogance was fun. Let's see. Cisco realized, since Eddington saw himself as a hero, that doing something villainous would force Eddington's hand, and it did. Cisco called his bluff, but the Maquis did have time to evacuate. Yeah, they did. Oh, did I finish Shooter?
Let me go check.
I got one more. No, I got. Oh, I'm sorry, Shooter. I thought I had.
For shoot.
I'm sorry, Shooter. I'm so sorry. I didn't get your last one. I do like using the crippled defiant the way they did. I apologize for that, Shooter, by the way. The way they did. Just it could have been a better story. Could have worked outside of Star Trek. I don't think the lesser of two evils works here. Very good point. Shooter, I'm sorry about that. I'm senile. I apologize, buddy.
I don't know. I'm pretty rusty tonight too.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're always rusty here. Phantom Outsider says, C. I felt the whole villain thing was silly. He poisoned the planet, but the Kardashians can still use it, as the Maquis poisoned the Kardashian planets that humans can still use. So the villain move is to force the Maquis to relocate like they did to the Kardashians. Because everyone hates moving. Remember, the planet's only poisoned for one species, not the other true villain. No one could use it. Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, but still, using a biogenic weapon is like that's a huge offense in Starfleet. Like you're talking about, that involves more than Starfleet. That now involves the Federation. You could be
Yes.
could you imagine if Earth was if all the Terrans were thrown out of the Federation due to using a biogenic weapon without consulting the Federation? Like the way that they handle this, it's dumb. I should have never have given this a C-. I must have
You
been
can revise
tired,
it.
and I was just mad about the Victor Hugo reference. But there are so many other things that I'm mad about in this. I probably should have given it an F.
I originally gave it an F, but I kind of toned it up to a D because you got to. This I didn't like it, but it didn't piss me off quite enough to get to the F. You got to piss me off to get the F.
Yeah.
I can think something's bad or not very good, but anyway, the great Scuba Pete says C-. I was more miserable having watched this episode. The whole "so help me God, I'll poison the atmosphere and turn this ship around if you don't surrender" felt like a weak conclusion. Totally with you there, Scuba. I do not like it. Do not like it at all, sir. The great Max Redstone says C. Okay, I get it. Odo and Worf were absent when they taught security at security school. Yeah, no one would think that Eddington didn't leave a fish to rot in the walls. No one would think to look. That is a very good point, Max Resso. Cisco going off the reservation might work for Moby Dick, but here it is. It is way off character. These Maquis episodes only work if the Maquis and the Federation is work if the Maquis and the Federation is if they find common ground. Okay. Indeed, Ben Cisco going 100% crimes against humanity is way too much. I don't know. Maybe if they had a good ensemble rendition of Master of the House, I might feel better about it.
I would just like to say
Well
that
said.
Eric has said, Raquel, right on turning towards my way. And Larry is saying, here's Raquel's F for me. So I would just like to say that for the Victor Hugo poopery and for the Cisco using a biogenic weapon, I was being far too nice. I should not do reviews after I've had a glass of wine. I'm revising my grade to an F. It is now officially an F. I doff my cap to Eric K. and Larry. I love you both.
As your captain, I accept it. You were first officer privilege there to do
Well,
so.
my team, I got to go with my team. I have a good crew here. They're advising me, and they've told me that I was not harsh enough in my punishment. So we're sending this one straight to the brig.
Our good buddy Stephen, a.k.a. Kal-El, excuse me, says A+. This episode tells an excellent story with differing points of view for the audience to consider from the characters involved. Cisco, a loyal Starfleet officer, is simply doing his duty.
Ha! You said duty.
No, he said duty. I had to make sure I said it that way. by going after the Maquis and Eddington in particular, but takes that to an extreme much later in the episode with the mess around and find out moment that Eddington suddenly found himself in with Cisco when he thought the former was bluffing. I really like the innovative way they overcame the limitations of the Defiant due to the computer viruses Eddington installed in the crew, which was too dumb to even think he might do something like that. Good point again to Max Redstone. Loyalty and understanding of Cisco's determination to stop the Maquis and capture Eddington was admirable, though not absolute, when it was clear they were shocked that Cisco was intent on carrying out his threat against the former Starfleet officer. Overall, despite Cisco's questionable tactics and his line about sometimes liking it when the bad guy wins, this episode was, you give me another reason to hate it. Incredibly well done and wraps up Eddington's story quite nicely. Well, I'll tell you this much, Kal-El, since the people who make this show, as we've seen over the course of reviewing it, frequently forget their own crap and ignore their own stupid stuff when they do something stupid or good, they forget it in the future. I'm gonna let me forget this episode because the more I think about it, we go on. Maybe I'm almost getting close to changing my review to an F. You helped me with that a little bit, Stephen. Even though I know you loved it, which is fine, because the character was totally out of line.
He was.
And it was totally. This would ruin the character of Cisco for me if their writing was not so inconsistent that right after that he started acting like Cisco again.
Yeah, it's bad. So, as requested by Chris Persia, I fully accept my crew. I accept what my crew has said. So now I must abide the request of the marvelous human being we all know and love as Chris Persia. Can't even talk tonight. Here we go. And I'd like to welcome Simply Steve to the
What's
chat.
up, buddy? Good to see you. No, you don't have to change the rating for him. He didn't give it that low a rating. Here's Chris Persia says C-. I mean, change it if you want to. I'm just saying.
No, Chris asked for a raspberry.
Oh, of course. Well, let's see. C- for Chris Persia said not particularly thrilled with Cisco willing to use terrorist tactics to catch a criminal. It goes completely against the Starfleet Code of Conduct and everything that Cisco himself upholds. That's what I say. This was characterization grape, as far as I'm concerned. It was bastardization of the character. Yeah. This misused the name La Malinche, which would have been better suited Eddington's ship. Oh, La Malinche, I got you. Eddington's ship. Consider both betrayed their own.
Yeah.
Considering both betrayed their own. Yes. Yeah. Marina betrayed the Aztec to the Spanish Eddington Starfleet.
So that's that what is it, Nauda lady? Yeah, Chris, that's exactly what I was just thinking. And so I'm glad that the whole pronunciation got drawn up, not only because it's silly to have an Aztec word in a French show, but because when I went to go and look at the information on it, looked it up in the encyclopedia, it is a negative, like it does have a negative connotation. I don't know anything about the history of this. I did not know about this interpreter who worked for Cortez, but that would mean that Starfleet was using like a colonizer's name for the ship, and so it's not in keeping with the ship naming conventions of Starfleet or the Federation. So that's where my mind went, but I don't want to get into that too much here because I totally don't know anything about the translator or what the translator did for Cortez, but it does seem like a dubious thing to do because it doesn't look as though it's a positive naming. So it is strange, isn't it? And it's worth looking into. So when we're all done this, everyone should go and have a look at his interpreter and what impact she had on the conquistadors and what happened with Cortez.
Simply Steve says, hey, good to see you, buddy. He says, hail and welcome aboard to all. F, I'm surprised that Chakotay agreed to be with Janeway in Voyager after what happened between the Fed and the Maquis here with Cisco. I think they were already in the Delta Quadrant by that point. This happens long after Janeway. If I'm not mistaken, this episode takes place after Voyager had already started.
Yeah.
Is that not right? Mr. Tickle Trunk and great to see and Katie.
Yay! I start Mr. Tickle Trunk. He didn't leave a review for this episode, but he did leave a review for us, and we love him. And it looks as though he's busy, so he's lurking. But I mean, we all get a chance to shut him out and say hello. And Katie's here.
Hey, Katie, love you. Good to see you. He said, he said, Raquel and Clubby get 10 from 10 from lurking. Thank you so much, buddy. And is that not the case? That's Voyager had already been started long before this episode aired, right?
Yeah. Because remember, Nana Visitor thought she could do both. She could work on Voyager and this. And I think that happened either directly before, directly after she was Pregos. So anyway, So Katie, it started. Yeah.
Katie, you have reviews of later episodes, which you've saved for later, but do you have anything to say about this episode? Because we got one more review left and we're moving on.
Blunt Philly reviews. Just walk through the door, boss.
Hey, Blunt Philly reviews. Katie, you have anything to say about For the Uniform?
Mm-hmm. She could be catching up.
Well, because she's got these here for
You go ahead and post it at your leisure, Katie, and we'll get to it. I know you're preparing for. First of all, she's in
Yeah, that's fine.
university, and
Yeah,
second of
okay.
all, she has a big
All right.
production coming out. She's
Okay, that's good.
she's in Swan Lake, so let's let her stew on that, and when it's
No
ready, we'll
problem.
read it. Love you, Katie.
The great Mark D with the C, the chief engineer, says C minus. Acting is great, and we have grown to really like these characters, but I despise the whole Maquis storyline. It does not fit the vision of Roddenberry predicted for our future. Exactly.
Yep.
We have Starfleet officers making a planet uninhabitable. An ex-Starfleet officer committed acts of terrorism.
Yep.
Terribleism, sorry.
Used a biogenic weapon.
Used a biogenic weapon. Yep. So it might be inconvenient to be relocated, but with the resources of the Federation and replicators, how bad could it be? Plus, and all the references to Jean Valjean made me miserable. Yes, sir.
I will.
Good to say.
Everybody is asking for a raspberry emoji. I will go and check. I'm making a post-it note right now. I'm putting it on my computer right now.
You know, I know what else they want.
What?
Crap, 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 if you perceive Alamarine, you'll come with.
Just saying.
So I'm gonna put that note up, and I will check automatically afterwards. Also,
okay,
I think
Katie.
Larry may have purchased some memberships. Everyone, he's saying click the present above, accept membership. Larry, I love you, sweetheart.
Thank you, Larry.
Larry has bought memberships. He has purchased memberships that you can take advantage of, and please do take advantage of his generosity. He's trying to build community. He's a marvelous human being who backs so many indie people in our geek and nerd communities. Oh, it's not you, Larry. I wonder who it is.
It was Shooter.
Was it Shooter?
Thank you, Shooter. Shooter gifted 10 Clobberin Times memberships. So any of you out there, if you're not a member already and you would like to be, no pressure, but if you'd like to be, please avail yourself of those. And again, shout out to Shooter. Thank you so much, my friend.
That Shooter is actually another person who works behind the scenes supporting indie artists. He's all over the board, and he is backing everyone, and he is a marvelous, marvelous human being. So yeah, thank you so much, sweetheart.
Yep. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you. You know what? This is a weird time to do it, but I want to say shout out to the great Cardinal Sin. It's his birthday the other day. He's out celebrating his birthday at a big party that he's having. So if he hears, if he doesn't pop in, party. I meant to shout it out earlier and totally forgot about it. I know he's out partying right now in this big bash he's having. So, but anyway, Clobberin Times wishes him a big happy birthday. That rascal. Be good out there. Don't have too much fun there, Cardi. Have all the fun you need to, buddy. Let's see. Katie said, I can't say that's why I sent my reviews. Peace and love. Love you, Katie. Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it's no biggie. So. Oh, you got one for the uniform as well? Let's see.
Yeah, I just put it up there.
Good episode. Not one of my favorites, though. I sympathize with the Maquis and truly understand their fight. Solid B. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katie. So.
Oh, Shooter, don't be mad, please. I didn't know. Just so you know, Shooter, we actually don't get to see who it is on this side, which is why I said I was pretty sure it was Larry, but it might not be. And I immediately corrected it. So if you're time traveling or maybe there's a delay, I definitely issued a correction and told everyone that it was you.
No. Yeah, Shooter, they don't. I had to be told by Mark, but Shooter, because it doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't. You can't see it on the StreamYard side.
Yeah, we don't see it. I
never know who did that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, good, Shooter, because I love you. You are first of all, you're one of my Patreon subs, and second of all, I have seen you everywhere supporting everyone, and I think you're a sweetheart of a human. So I'm so sorry that I made that mistake. If I could see it on this side, I would never ever have to ask or get it wrong, and so I do apologize.
So anyway. Our next episode, let's get on to it, shall we?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, our next episode is in Purgatory's Shadow.
It sure is. And in Purgatory's Shadow is a part one of part two. Now, some people don't consider this a part one of a part two. So
Yeah.
in some places, this is fused,
Sort
and
of
in
is.
some places, it's two separate episodes. But it is to be continued. And this is what I'm talking about how the different streaming services break up certain things. So this is season 5, episode 14. Now, if it's not broken up that way for you and you're not seeing 14, it's production code 512. We all watched this for the very first time on February 10th, 1997. And so, keeping copyright compliant, I'm going to be doing a cold read. I have not pre-read this. It is the summary of In Purgatory's Shadow from Wikipedia. Let's do it. When Deep Space Nine picks up a mysterious coded message from inside the Gamma Quadrant that appears to be Cardassian, exiled Cardassian spy Garrick is asked to analyze it. He told everyone that the message was a harmless report from years ago, but Dr. Bashir sees through his lie when Garrick tried to sneak away on a ship. He reveals that the message is a distress call from his mentor, Inabran Tain, who was believed to have been killed in an ill-fated Cardassian attack on the Dominion 2 years prior. Garrick convinces Captain Sisko to allow him to travel to the Gamma Quadrant, accompanied by Lieutenant Commander Worf, to search for Tain and other possible survivors from the Dominion attacks. Soon after entering Dominion space, they wind up in the midst of a Dominion fleet. Worf realizes that the fleet must be assembled to invade the Alpha Quadrant, to invade the Alpha Quadrant. He sends a warning message to DS9 just before Jemadar soldiers take him and Garrick prisoner. Back on DS9, the crew receives Worf's message and realize the Dominion is coming. With reinforcements at least 2 days away and only disgraced Cardassian officer Dukat on the station due to a confrontation with a Klingon battlecruiser on hand to help out, Sisko sees only one choice: sealing the wormhole, trapping Worf and Garrick on the other side if they cannot return before the operation is completed. Worf and Garrick are taken to a Dominion detention center. Tain is there, on his deathbed. Instead of being thankful to Garrick for coming, Tain chastises him for allowing himself to be taken prisoner. Also, among the fellow prisoners are a Klingon, General Martok, and, to Garrick and Worf's surprise, Dr. Julian Bashir. Also a Vulcan, which then turns out to be 2 Vulcans, anyways, and a Breen, meaning that Bashir, back on DS9, is a changeling imposter. At his last request, Tain makes Garrick promise to escape. Desperate for a kind word from his mentor before the old man passes on, Garrick makes a request in return that Tain acknowledge him as his son. Tain does so, and father and son share a memory before Tain dies peacefully. His mission complete, Garrick is ready to find a way out. On Deep Space Nine, the crew shoots a particle beam at the wormhole, intending to close it. However, something goes wrong. The emitter array has been sabotaged, and the wormhole remains open, allowing the Dominion fleet warships to begin pouring through. And that is all the collective internet has to say about In Purgatory's View. And now I'm going to turn it over to Captain, my captain, mon capitaine. Please tell me, what did you think of In Purgatory's View? Or Shadow.
Well, here we go. We're now in the starting to really start out with the meat of the early beginnings of what's going to be a lot of the space drama that we've been talked about a lot lately. And I think this is a pretty good opening parter to this 2-parter. A good setup for it. This is a good drama episode with a lot of good characterization, and you can't go wrong with Garrick. A lot of good character stuff. But again, it's set up for the second episode, but I thought he did a pretty good job with that. I liked I don't know, something about there are a lot of great character dynamics on the show, like twosomes on the show that really work well together. Your Quark and Odo, your O'Briens and Bashirs and such. But I kind of like, we don't get it. I think we didn't get enough Garrick Worf. I like Garrick and Worf stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite exchanges is when, you're no fun anymore, Mr. Worf. And he goes, good. That's just that whole exchange with them. So on balance, it's just it's a setup this episode. but it's a pretty good one, a pretty good intrigue episode, I think. So
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot to say. Just like it, and of course we got more to say when we get to the second part.
Yeah.
So notes.
Everybody's asking in the chat, as per Star Trek .com, Inabrantane is spelled T-A-I-N, Tane,
Okay.
like pain. And I totally agree about the whole thing with the Worf and Garrick. No matter how many times I rewatch this, and everybody knows, like, I start rewatching the 735 on January 1st every year. One thing that never leaves me is this idea of woof. Okay,
Just
so
woof.
of course I'm gonna quote our goddess, our queen, Lawaksana, and say, you know, like, we don't think of Worf as this tactician on the same level as Garrick. So the minute that Garrick starts speaking to him about his intentions towards Starfleet and the Federation, we sort of see that Worf can be molded, smoothed over, and perhaps manipulated by Garrick. And this is actually a pretty good authorial technique, because it shows that even though we respect Worf, we don't think he's woof, you know, Commander Woof. He's more than a rug in 10 Forward. It just heightens our respect for Garrick, and it shows what a tactician Garrick is, and that he will play so many psychological and emotional games with you that you don't know your butt from a hole in the ground. So I would have liked to have seen a lot more Woof versus Garrick. I think it would have been great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, this is a good character episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah. So should I do my notes, boss?
Yes, please. Well, go for it.
Okay, Zial and Garrick, this is still a creepy idea. There is nothing like a 30 or even a 40-year age gap. Now, we have a mathematician who is with us. His name is D. Bud Martin. I don't know if he's out there.
I don't think he's here tonight, though.
I don't think
Jill's
he's here tonight.
also a mathematician.
I'm not sure. I don't think she's a mathematician. I think she's
just
a
a math
programmer.
person. Okay.
Yeah. But here we have some math that's super fun, and she's a math teacher, so she'll like this as well. If Garrick was his father's protege as head of the Obsidian Order in 2348, let's say he's 30 years old. So if you're being groomed to be the head of the Obsidian Order, even if you're young, you're probably 30, right? Zial was born in 2354. The current year is 2373. So Garrick is at least 54 or 55 years old. According to StarTrek.com, Zial is only 19 here. Why didn't they write Zial for Jake? Wouldn't that have been wonderful if we could have had another chapter where we could have Zial and Jake, and then maybe, you know what, we could get to a point where we could have had another iteration of Star Trek as we built these sort of post-pubescent characters into their own character arcs, or into their own stories that we could have been intrigued by and you know, possibly wanted to watch. I just think it's weird that, you know, it's likely that he's like 40 years older than her, or in and around there, because he's, you know, I don't know. I just think it's gross. And yet Jake is with a 50-year-old woman who tries to suck his brains out the back of his head.
Well,
when he's
it is
16,
Hollywood for you.
Yeah, and which is really, you know, PEDO. Anyway, here are my notes. They use the asteroid like Rurapenthe. And I really love that they use whoever it was who wrote this. It is written by Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolfe. They definitely were thinking of Rurapenthe. It is almost the identical dialogue when Kirk goes to that penal colony. On the outside is death. There's nothing out there. There's no oxygen. There's, you know, you'll freeze to death. You're going to die. So definitely taken from the Rurapenthe. Mm-hmm. This is a nice bit of work, because we have an explanation for the Martok disappearance. So it's really nice that finally someone is coming in and saying, "Oh no, let's tie up some loose ends here. Let's give the viewer some payoff." Yeah. So explaining Martok's disappearance is good payoff. And DVB is here, boss.
Hello, DVB. Welcome to Clobberin Times. I don't think we've seen you before. Welcome. Good to see you.
And so Bashir being replaced is a nice twist, though the viewer is
Yeah.
left to consider that changelings can make blood, bone, and organs. So pricking his finger is a meaningless act because now we know that changelings can do that. They can actually take a changeling and turn them into blood, bone, and organs. They did so with Odo. I love that the way that Garrick drops the dad bomb, and that Bashir is listening over his shoulder. Why can't Odo recognize another changeling? Changeling Bashir. So where is Odo? It would have been nice if the writers would have said, Odo is, away investigating this, that, or the other, because we know that Odo's spider senses start tingling immediately. Like Spider-Man can detect evil and wrongdoing, and the bad guy. Odo can detect changelings even when he's not a changeling, even when he's been turned into a human being with blood, bone, and organs. So it's weird that Odo doesn't recognize that Bashir is a changeling, even though he's been there for 4 weeks. The thing I don't like about the prison scenes is there is no toilet, there is no water or food in the cell. Now, normally somebody would say, "Oh, this is just a TV show. Maybe they were taking them to the washroom and stuff." I don't buy that. Listen, it's very important to recognize that Michael Piller has admitted to overwriting villains before, and I've always said that they need to be careful not to overwrite the Jemadar. And we know that the Jemadar don't eat and they don't eliminate. They also don't copulate. So the viewer wants this answered, and that's because if somebody's been in prison for 4 weeks without water, the prisoner would be dead. And also, prison stories, an important part of imprisonment is the lack of sustenance. It's the lack of water. It's and it's energy sapping, and it steals your life. So here we have this huge idea of what happens to you in prison. You're deprived of your freedom. You're deprived of your rights. You may be beaten, and all these things, right? So it's just weird because that whole idea is even more enhanced because the Jemadar don't eat and don't poop and don't bump uglies. So it's annoying to me, and that's all I have in my notes.
There you go. Well, so let's make short work of it then. Let's get this ball rolling. What is your rating of In Purgatory's Shadow?
In Purgatory's Shadow, I gave it a B minus. I think that there's some really good storytelling here, but I do think that that some of it is kind of weird. Like we have the disappearing Vulcan and the reappearing Vulcan, and we have them locked behind the door. But then we have this weird conversation where they're told that they can walk around like Rura Penthe, and if they go topside, they'll die. But then we return to this idea that they're locked behind the door, and and then we have the Jemadar going in and saying, "Where's the Klingon?" Or not, where's the Klingon, but where's the Cardassian? So it's very uneven story writing, and the editor should have been on top of this, so you don't get removed from the story. Other than that, it's a B minus. This isn't science fiction. It's drama, and it's okay, but it's not great. B minus.
Yeah, I go with a straight B on it. It's for being, and that's high for me lately. Good character drama, well done. Again, if you're very, yes, it's a science fiction setting that doesn't always have science fiction stories. We've already come used to that with Deep Space Nine. We know that comes with it. But if you can tell good, intriguing stories, character drama, and intrigue and war related stuff, even though I don't think Trek should be war related. Picasso, hey there.
Picasso.
I found it pretty enjoyable, so I'm going to go with a B now. Since Mega Cropper jumped the gun on us again. Mega Cropper, but that's okay. Please, I'm teasing America. Everyone, please give your review, your rating, and any words you may have of In Purgatory's Shadow, and I will bring us some Max Redstone entertainment. So go for it. Let's see. Hang in there, folks. Where you at? Okay, here we go. Alrighty. In Purgatory's Shadow by the limericks, by the great Max Redstone. From the Gamma Quadrant, a message has flowed, and Garrick knows the Cardassian code. You might think he is mad to search for his dear old dad, right before they make the wormhole implode. Nice, Max. Nice work, Maximum. Way to go, buddy. Let's see what we got from some reviews. Okay, our lovely friend, Katie. I hope you're still out there, Katie, but if not, thank you for being here. Says, in Purgatory Shadow. Let's see. She reviewed the two at the same time, so I'll just in Purgatory Shadow, and she gives it basically. She likes the two-parter. Says they're great. Complete right. She's reviewed it as one, so I can't. Well, we'll see. She loves the Zial and relationship with Garrick. Okay. And I thought the reveal, and she thought of Bashir and Martok at the prison camp was excellent overall. Great use of the characters and showcase their abilities. Okay, so she loved both of those. Thank you so much, Katie. Did she give it kind of a, I don't know if she gave it an actual rating, but she liked them both. Thank you, Katie, so much, my dear. Appreciate you. Mega Cropper says B minus. No, B plus. Sorry, Mega Cropper. B plus. All righty. Stephen A. Kal-El. Excuse me, Mim Kal-El. Sorry. Just having my kind of night there, buddy. Says A. This episode was very well done with enough surprise revelations throughout to keep the audience engaged. We start to see a more humane side of Garrick, and although he doesn't stray too. Hang on a second, I gotta find your next one, buddy. Far from the character that we all know, his attempt to find Tane on his own before being caught by Bashir is indicative of how honorable an individual Garrick actually is. I remember seeing. Hang on. Takes a while to get to the second ones there, bro. To get there, a lot of space between them. This episode, when it first aired, and being genuinely surprised that not only had Tane survived, but that Bashir had previously been replaced by a changeling as well. This was a great first. Hang on. First part of a two-part episode, which had me looking forward to the second part with great anticipation. All right, thank you so much, Shooter. I mean, Steven, sorry. I'm a mess tonight. Sorry, folks. Good Lord. Max Redstone says, B minus. First of all, couldn't all the constable's things just be beamed into his quarters? The scene feels like filler. It poorly reiterates the fumbly sexual tension between Odo and Kira. Hang on. The coded message is a nice plot device, and it also plays well to the cleverness of both Tane and Garrick. I will say, the in-runabout Worf-Garrick interaction shows some bromance potential.
Boss, Admiral
Yes.
Teague just walked through the door.
Hey, Admiral Teague, good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. All right. Always great to have you here, sir. Okay, we got to find the next one from Max. 2, there's 3. Wow, Goldicott self-persecute much? Ow. Sorry, I hurt my leg. Again, a runabout is sent on a recon mission whose equipment would clearly call for a starship, especially one with a cloaking device, not a shuttle. Okay, number 4. The writers did Nana dirty. Most of Kira's dialogue is zero value trash. However, Changeling Bashir is a next level plot twist. Garrick and Tane's final moment is as touching as possible. Sorry. As this is a part one episode, I expect some sacrifices to the greater story. However, some of the plot awareness is truly reversible. Error and keeps them from being an A episode. Sorry about that, Max. I'm all over the place. I need to straighten up, get my eyesight back on.
Boss man, Jerry
Yes.
Lahane is here.
Hey, Jerry. Good to see you. Dokie, always great to have you. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Who we got next? Jill says A-. No complete sentences. Pure Garrick gold. Fantastic twist and revelations. Characterization, brilliance in general. Intelligent dialogue, everything. Indeedishness. Jill, thank you. Hurt 130 says, Boosh McFadden, maybe they beamed a hamburger into their tummies and beamed everything else out. I'm not exactly sure where you would beam it, though. All this beaming.
Burk!
That's
Hooby dooby.
That's a review.
Well, yeah, no, he was adding to the conversation, so I thought, let's add Herc. I do love Herc.
Okie doke. Let's see the sounds feeling.
Ooh, Deadman in the Deadman Clan.
Deadman, really? Oh, Deadman. Hey, man, what's up, buddy?
Hey, sweetheart.
I hope you and the clan are doing well. The Deadman Clan. Eric K says, B+. I'm a sucker for a good Garrick episode.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, indeed. I thought changelings could detect each other.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Yeah. Why do they not have a way to detect them yet? Of course, maybe just Odo can't because he's not a full, he didn't have all that. I don't know. Andrew J. Robinson and Paul Dooley acting is superb.
Yep.
Right there with you, buddy. Classic Comics. CC says grade A, and he gives it an A. One of the best two-parters in Star Trek. The revelation that Bashir has been replaced is totally unsuspected. Also, we get introduced to the Breen, who become important later. Great episode from Garrick.
Nice. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. Classic Comics.
Although the Breen, they've been Breen before. They've been mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't they?
Yeah, there is always a generous sprinkling of Breen.
Yeah, they've been mentioned before, but I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
No, I just don't think that we were. In fact, they were in a previous DS9 episode, but they, I think, originally, mentioned on TNG.
Mm-hmm.
They were Breen on that.
Well, they were also mentioned in the previous episode.
Yeah, but and they were in another episode with the first one with Zial. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Captain James T. Skywalker says, A. Garrick goodness episode. How did one Vulcan become two? They're changelings. I don't know. Toilet is a good point. Food, water could be in the outer yard. Yeah, could be. Lisa says D+. Bored with the whole episode except for the fun interaction between Worf and Dax.
Yep.
And Worf and Garrick. Nice poignant moment between Garrick and his dad at his very last moment.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yes,
I agree with every single comment there.
Shooter says, taking a runabout into the Gamma Quadrant into Dominion territory, a bright command decision. Yeah, good point. Garrick and Worf, another story of two societal outcasts stuck together. Is there any character Garrick doesn't play well off of? Probably not. No, I doubt it. So it's implied that Garrick and Zial are not doing the dirty, less creepy. Ducat always makes an interest. Well, think about, isn't this a new actress playing her?
Yes. We get three in total, right? So yeah.
Right, and they purposely made the actress a lot older than she doesn't. I know she's still a kid. The character is, but they don't even make her look like a kid anymore. You notice?
Yeah, they had to do that because, like I said, if you're being generous and you're looking at Andy's age, you're going to say, okay, 55.
Right.
Okay. But I mean, if you're being groomed to be the head of the Obsidian Order, I'm thinking you're an adult man, you know,
Right.
maybe 35, maybe 40 years old, which would make him like 40 years older than her. If you do the math.
Maybe Cardassians are already screwed up about everything else. Maybe that's in their society. They don't care about that kind of thing. But you know, yeah, who knows? Ugh. Anyway, let's hide in that nebula. No one will think to look for us in there. What happened to the Romulan fleet that they can't defend the fleet that they can't defend themselves? Professor Khan named dropped. Nice callback. Let's see. Hang on, shooter. Got more.
Eric, I love you, Eric. Don't read that. What Eric put. Don't read that.
Okay. It's the real Martok and the real Bashir. Why are species as callous as the founders keeping prisoners alive?
This is what I say.
I think they need them. How are they they use them? They clearly use them for let their Jimadar do whatever they want with them for training and stuff. How are they transported to the Gamma Quadrant, and why? I'm afraid I just don't know.
Shooter, I have lots to say in the next episode, and our comments sound a lot alike. Wait until you hear my comments for the next one.
Cisco disappoints me with his defeatist attitude. We can't beat the Dominion. Wow, that's what we want to see. Have to mention the revelation of Tane as Garrick's father was solid. All right, Shooter.
And Admiral Teague would like to announce to the chat and everyone here that he's on his phone, so it's difficult for him to participate in the chat. He's not ignoring you, but it's going to be a little bit slow for Admiral Teague tonight. So we appreciate you being here, Admiral Teague, and take your time. We'll wait.
Absolutely. Fanty Outsider says, B. Finally, we get to see why Garrick was so loyal and wanting Tane's approval. Garrick allowing the Doctor to hear was interesting, as it showed he really considers the Doctor a friend, having dispatched.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got more. All Tane's enemies was a nice touch. Wish they'd revived, probably, or revealed maybe who Garrick's mom was. Okay, likely the housekeeper. As any loved one of Tane would be a target. Family is important to Cardassians. I felt the... Hang on.
That's some very interesting fan fiction you're writing there, Fanty, and I really like it.
I don't have any more after that one, Fanty.
No, you should. Did it get vaporized? Let me go see.
I don't know.
Fanty, I'll go look, sweetheart. I'll go see if I can find your third one.
Unless maybe they didn't write it yet.
Oh, that's possible. Let me go check. Box.
I don't know. He probably would have written it, but the last one I got of his is number 2 of 3. So.
Oh, there is no 3 of 3. At least not on my side of the StreamYard. And folks, just so you know, we can't see the same thing that you see on your side. So that's problematic. Let me just go through this.
Steve says, if we can find it, we'll put it up there, Fanty. Says, B, you'd think Odo could sniff out another changeling, but not this time. Where did he come from? Changelings are us. Dukat seeing his father die was interesting and funny with their banter and last words. I think you mean Garrick, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
But I got you. Thank you. Oh, yeah, he changed it to... He's got another one. Changes it to Garrick. Okay, I read the first one.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a fair cop, Steve. Thank you, buddy. Pleasant Valley Picker says, a great character interaction and dialogue. Oh, A. I'm sorry, it says A. Great character interaction and dialogue. Sorry, PVC. Garrick, Dukat, always fun. Zial standing up to Dukat, a nice touch. Tane, Garrick, scene great. Sorry, short review, just back from laundry room. No, it's no problem, man. You know, we got you. Wolfie says, rating A. Don't lose my operas, damn it. Yeah, the Garrick, Dukat, and Zial tension was great. Internment Camps 371 seems like a fun place. Martok being here the entire time is interesting. Yes, it is. I agree. And Abram finally admits that he's Garrick's father. At least we think so. Excellent dialogue between Worf and Garrick. Indeedishness. This is our first look at a large Jemadar V-type battlecruiser. It is a CGI model that will later be supplemented with a physical model. Wow.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a couple of things I need to say. First, Chris Persia is leaving the chat, but he's not leaving the show. He's going to go and turn us on the TV, and he just wants to say goodnight to everyone. So he will no longer be participating in the chat, but he's still with us. So if you need to yell anything out to him, please go ahead and do that, but just don't expect him to respond. And I just want everyone to know that the wonderful Masters Maniac Mexico has joined us, and he is announcing that he's in the same position as Chris. He says, same here. I'm listening and enjoying all the time, but a little far away from the laptop as I'm cabled tonight. I did ask the doctor, but he said he is sure they don't want me to turn into a Borg.
I think it means a Borg. Yes. MMM, thanks for being here, buddy. I don't want you turning into a Borg either. Well, a Cyberman maybe. A Dalek, I don't know. But no Borgs for you, mister. No Borgs for you, young man. Good to see MMM. I hope you're doing well. It's good that we're so happy to have you here. Everybody, if you could, put that MMM in the chat for him. A good friend. Monsters Maniac Mexico. So, all righty. All righty. What else we got? So I guess that's all. That's all the reviews I have so far.
That's it, boss.
I don't see anyone. No one else had any more reviews?
Nope, that's it.
Well, going once. I guess. Yeah, Jill didn't see that one either. So, all right, everyone. There are a few people that weren't able to do it. It's cool, but
nope.
Oh,
here
Mark.
Comes Mark. Here comes Marky
Okay.
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Okay. Mark D with a C says B+. Well, this episode may be sci-fi adjacent, but it is well done with some great acting. The reveal that Tane is Garrick's father was both touching and heartbreaking. Yeah. There are changelings off the starboard bow. Nice setup for the start of the Dominion War. Not quite as dramatic as the Borg cliffhanger, but it had me waiting for the next week's show. Said it many times, but it's nuts. There is not more of a Starfleet presence at DS9. Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. And Fanti,
it would have been a great reason to leave Lawaksana around, right? Because she is an ambassador for the Federation, and even having someone like Lawaksana around, we should have this Federation presence. We should have this Starfleet presence there. It should be quite strong, and then we wouldn't have our captain releasing biogenic weapons on people.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous. So, Fading Outsiders number 3 is here. It says, Ziao Garrick pairing was Garrick channeling his inner John Bender. Would it too equal ick to Ducat? Wouldn't he be an excellent in that capacity? Well, thank you, Fanti. It is noted. Thank you so much.
I don't listen to that band. I've only just
know.
Passively heard it on the radio when I'm in the pub or
Right.
or whatever. But whenever Clobby says Ducat, I hear that German band Du hast mich.
Well, yep.
I'm sorry, it's just true. That's what I hear. Do it. Say Ducat.
Ducat?
Yeah, the way you say it with your accent, it sounds like.
I don't have an accent.
Anyways, it sounds very metal. It sounds very cool. Anyway.
I don't know if I have an accent.
Ramstein, that's what it is. Thanks, shoot.
All righty. Well, are we ready for the next episode?
Yes.
All right. Hello, everyone. The part two, really,
It is
by
part two.
Inferno's Light.
Mm-hmm.
All
Yep, by
right.
Inferno's Light is season 5, episode 15. It's prod code 513. If your streaming service numbers are off, that's because this is seen as a part 1 and a part 2 by some streaming services, and others separate. And the way that they did the pilot, la 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 la. Anyways, long story short. Prod code 513. We all watched this for the very first time on February 17th, 1997. And now I'm going to read extemporaneously. That means that I haven't read it before from Wikipedia, which is often not written very well, so it might get a little rough. Saddle up, lock and load. The Dominion fleet passes through the wormhole and flies off toward Cardassia. The Cardassian officer Gul Dukat anyway, sorry, I gotta drop it, joins them, announcing that the Dominion has accepted Cardassia as a member, with Dukat as its new leader. As the Dominion internment camp, where DS9 officers Worf and Dr. Bashir, the Cardassian former spy Garrick, and the Klingon General Martok are being held, the inmates have built an illicit transmitter inside the prison walls. Oh, this is a tragic example of writing. Anyway, I'm going to keep going. Garrick crawls inside of the walls to modify. He doesn't crawl inside of the walls. He crawls in between the walls, anyways, to modify it to signal their runabout so they can escape, triggering his severe claustrophobia. Meanwhile, Worf is selected as an opponent for Jemadar guards to practice hand-to-hand combat. Worf's refusal to surrender, defeating a series of Jemadar opponents, inspires Garrick to overcome his fears and continue working. Dukat vows, with the help of the Dominion, to destroy all who stand in the way of Cardassia becoming a major power in the Alpha Quadrant. As Klingon ships hastily retreat from their invasion of Cardassian space, Deep Space Nine's Captain Sisko persuades Klingon Chancellor Gowron, I love Gowron, to reinstate the alliance, you mean the Khitomer Accord, between the Klingons and the Federation in order to fight the Dominion. Dukat contacts Sisko, warning that he intends to conquer Deep Space Nine for the Dominion. Sisko deploys the Starship Defiant and 3 runabouts to fight the incoming Cardassian Dominion fleet. They are joined by the Klingons and the Romulan fleet. Unknown to Sisko, a changeling impersonating Bashir is at the helm of one of the runabouts. Back at the internment camp, the Jemadar come close to discovering Garrick before being overpowered by the other prisoners. Meanwhile, Worf is fighting Ika. Okay, listen, I can't say this, but I am going to spell it for you, okay? Because it's ridiculous, okay? Like, I'm a decent reader, but some of these languages and some of this stuff, especially the made up stuff, this is the guy's name. IKAT apostrophe IKA. The Jemadar commander.
Why do Jemadar have names anyway?
Yeah, why would they even need names? I mean, they're just don't they? Yeah, I am his. Yeah, don't they say like I am his something like the Borg? I'm his second. I am his third, and they have the lifespan of a toddler. So it's like, by the time they hit the terrible 2s, they croaked. Anyways, let's keep going. The Jemadar commander. Worf refuses to yield to the commander. Impressed by Worf's determination, yields the fight. The Vorta overseer, disgusted, orders Worf's and the commander's immediate execution. As the troops turn their phasers toward Worf, Garrick manages to activate the transmitter, and the prisoners are beamed away to the runabout at the last second. There, Bashir sends an urgent message to DS9. The changeling Bashir's runabout is carrying a bomb intended to detonate inside the sun, incinerating DS9, Bajor, and the combined Starfleet, Klingon, and Romulan forces. Receiving Bashir's message, Sisko orders that runabout destroyed. The Defiant takes the risky maneuver of engaging warp drive. What? This is the thing that bugs me. Like, it's going to make my head explode. The Defiant, listen to this, folks. You're all going to roll your eyes so bad. The Defiant takes the risky maneuver of engaging warp drive within a solar system in order to pull the runabout away from the sun, where it
Yeah.
explodes safely. No,
They said-
Cardassian.
Yeah, they said that in the episode. I'm like, what are they talking about?
Yeah, it's complete and utter balderdash. Anyways, no Cardassian Dominion fleet arrives. Garrick, Worf, Bashir, and Martok return to the station, and Sisko finalizes the peace treaty with Gowron. Martok is appointed to command the new permanent Klingon presence on DS9. So I talk quite a bit about. I complain quite a bit about Jadzia saying that it's very risky to engage the warp drive in a solar system. I talk about that in my notes, but for right now, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to turn it over to the boss and I'm going to say, Captain, what did you think of this episode?
Well, where else are you going to use the damn warp drive? What do you mean? Outside the solar system? What the hell are you talking about? I don't understand.
In a black hole. They're going to use warp drive in a black hole.
What the hell? Anyway. Wade, welcome, Lemon Pie and
Lemon Pie!
Captain Infinity and Beyond. Oh, man. And I like this one a lot. I think it was really entertaining. I think this is a lot more entertaining than the first part. I guess I'm a sucker for, when Worf is handled well, it can be really good. It's got a lot of good stuff with Garrick. The whole thing, look, this is almost like an homage to the great film, The Great Escape, with him being terrified to go. This right out of The Great Escape, where Charles Bronson is terrified to work in the little in the tunnels, but he does it anyway.
What year did that come out?
1961 or 2, somewhere up in there.
Because I believe what I watched that when we got CBS in Canada. I think CBS was on Channel 4 at that time, and I believe that on the. Do you remember the CBS Saturday night movie?
We had the ABC Sunday night movie, but maybe you had.
Oh, maybe I'm getting it mixed up. Yeah, I think that's where I watched that movie.
Could be. Well, The Great Escape's one of the all-time favorites. It's one of the great movies ever. And it's been what a cast! Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, just James Garner, amazing, great movie. That seemed like sort of a tribute to that. But anyway, it's. I just think it was I found it pretty entertaining. The stuff with Worf and the fights and stuff. So again, like it's not necessarily a science fiction story. We always say that, but it is good drama, good character stuff, and all in all, closing up the two-parter quite nicely. The thing in the solar system thing, I just don't understand what the hell they're talking about. I don't know where else you're supposed to use warp drive. Is there? I mean, in between solar systems. I mean, they've never ever said anything like that before that I know of.
It's never mentioned before, and it will never be mentioned afterward.
1963. Thank you, Fanty.
Yeah, that's good. I remember watching that movie in the 70s, late 70s, I believe we watched that.
Yeah, I've seen it many times. And so, okay, there you go. I thought it'd be a thoroughly entertaining episode. Go ahead and go with you. You have notes? Or
I do have notes for this one, boss. Why doesn't the Dominion kill the humanoids they are replaced with changelings? Why go to the trouble of moving them about and hiding them? This is not something that you would expect from the Jemadar. It just doesn't make sense. Garrick is cuckoo. Claustrophobia is the least of his worries. I love these crazy soliloquies. They never get old. And soliloquy, as you all know, or you probably know, is just a literary term. It means that, you're talking to yourself and you're revealing your inner thoughts at length, or you're talking to yourself and you're revealing your plans to reveal more about the story. Anyways, his bat poop crazy soliloquies are hysterical. And it's funny to watch a villain like him squirm. How did Worf and Martok not know that Garrick was in between the walls? How did they know that he wasn't behind the wall? Where else would Garrick be? And it's weird because then, of course, one of the Jemadar walk in and say, "Where's the Cardassian?" So this is the another thing where like Trekkies will like bend over backwards and do all these mental gymnastics to be like, well, they could walk around wherever they want. It's like Repente. They'll just die if they walk too far away. But then in the story, the Jemadar continually and so do the prisoners behave as though they can't get out of the cell without permission. So Dom and also there are so many scenes where the Vulcan and the Breen are missing, or there's just suddenly a new Vulcan there. There's a male Vulcan there, and he disappears and reappears. It's quite hysterical. Why didn't the Jemadar destroy the runabout? Why is it waiting to fully turned on in orbit? So if you're going to do something that's really super Star Wars, go all the way like Star Wars did and shut off the Millennium Falcon. Make it so that when they finally get back on the Millennium Falcon, that they have to turn it up. They have to, turn everything on, charge everything up, and try and get away. Instead, it's like you can hear the elevator, the boring elevator music, imagining the runabout just there above this penal colony, fully on, just waiting for them to beam aboard. Ding, 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 ding. It's just silly. And also, why isn't it sending out a distress call? I love the Zial line about the Vorta being alcoholic sex maniacs. I think it's absolutely hysterical when she looks up at Quark and goes, well, look on the bright side, Quark. The Vorta are probably sex maniacs and alcoholics. It's funny. We suddenly have another Vulcan male. The male Jemadar disintegrates. And what's worse is that the male Vulcan is they add a male Vulcan for like 2 seconds, only to prove that they can kill within the cell to prove their brutality. And what's really weird is the Vulcan is openly frightened. So not only does the Vulcan emote absolute terror, but even lifts up his fingers to try and stop the weapon from hitting him. So it's very weird. Why don't the Jemadar pursue? Why don't the Jemadar pursue the runabout? So this is another thing. They get on the runabout and they go away, and the Jemadar don't pursue. So why didn't the Jemadar just beam into the runabout again and take them prisoner again? Runabout, and then back on DS9, they mentioned Runabout Pad E. I've never heard a DS9 ever talk about Pad A, B, C, D, or E. And speaking of which, when did we get 5 runabouts on DS9? When? 5 runabouts? And warp in a solar system is dangerous. Since when? Name another time this is said. And then I put, there are some nice ideas here. We need some better editing to plug up some of the holes. And this is all I have to say about this episode.
Well, we've had it brought to our attention from the engineer that it's been mentioned in the motion picture, which I didn't want to interrupt you while you were doing that, but he did put that in the chat. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I was looking at my notes. Picture,
Captain's log stardate 7412.6. In order to intercept the intruder at the earliest possible time, we must now risk engaging warp drive while still within the solar system.
Yeah, but
Captain, assuming we have warp capacity, accelerating warp 7 on leaving the solar system will bring it. Yeah, but that can be interpreted another way.
Yeah.
Well, then, while we're still within, I can think that could be interpreted a different way because, as Max points out on a couple of occasions, that at different times, they used with the Klingon bird of prey in Star Trek 4 was jumped to warp while in the atmosphere of a planet.
Yeah,
and they've used it so many other times. So look, I'm not saying that's a good point that you brought up there, Chief Engineer. It's just that it was almost never mentioned. So maybe it's not never, but it was so rarely mentioned, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because why would they mention it all the time?
Yeah, and not only that, in TMP, that is due to an intermix. So the intermix causes the anomaly, right? And then we have this massive asteroid that has to be destroyed or whatever. So what they're talking about is like, this is why they had to call Isaac Asimov, and they phoned Isaac Asimov for that shot and said, What are the astrophysics on this? Are they correct? And so you have to realize that you would have to know how a warp bubble works in order to be able to navigate this. But never in the history of Star Trek have they ever said this nonsense about not being able to do it in the solar system. And you can't use the TMP reference because you're not applying it correctly. Because the TMP reference has to do with the fact that the ship isn't ready, and it's actually the intermix. And Scotty actually explains that to Kirk after that, and Decker basically backs him up and says, you caused this. So that's a completely different thing. They're actually saying this here, that you can't go to warp in a solar system. Is this a callback to staying under warp 5 like the lunatic suggested in that other episode? Who knows? But it all stinks. It all stinks.
Well, it's like Mark's saying. He said that line from TMP always stuck with him. He thinks it stuck with him because it seems like there was the writers being inconsistent because they'd never said it before that. Mm-hmm. It's like it's just a weird thing. But anyway.
Hey, Linrod's here.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I shouted at Linrod. I thought I said Linrod.
Oh, I didn't hear. I didn't hear.
No. Sorry. There we go. Good to see you, Linrod. So anyway, where are we at? Oh, what is your rating of By Infinite's Light?
I completely agree with you, Captain Finity. That is the problem. And many of you are saying that in the chat. Yes, it pulls me out of the story. Don't say stuff like that. Find another way to say it. And unfortunately, I don't think that people realize that it's only going to get worse. Like, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm just going to say it right now, although it reveals my hand too much. Voyager turns into complete gobbledygook. So if you have hard science fiction and you're trying to make it science fiction, which is futurism, tech, and technical advancements, then you really have to do a little bit of homework there. If you want to make it science fantasy and make it seem as though you're breaking the speed of light instead of creating a warp bubble, well, then you better mind your P's and Q's, or just give in to the whole thing and just, make it either or and sound silly. And eventually we do get to the silly part, because it isn't until Enterprise that we go back to science fiction. Voyager, it's complete gobbledygook. It's just and it makes any sense. Anyways, and it's not science. Anyways,
Mr.
C+.
Mr. Angel's here.
Mr. Angel,
what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
Yeah, so for me, I'm sorry, there's just too much BS going on here, and it's a C+.
I give this one a B. I thought it was solid and very entertaining. So there we go. All right, my friends. Now, please give us any rating you may have of By Infinite's Light and any words you may have about it, while I bring us some Max Redstone Entertainment and stuff, limericks and stuff. Here we go. Okay, I was cheating. I was eating a brownie. My mom made some great stuff today. I was enjoying a brownie when I should have been working. Sorry, everybody. All right. By Inferno's Light by the great Max Redstone. Here we go. The Dominion's great plan begins to take shape. Bashir and Garrick work toward their escape. While Worf fights Jem'Hadar, evil Julian plots to explode a star, but fails to cook Deep Space Nine like a crepe. Whoa, that's classic. Max Redstone knocking him out of the park again. Way to go, Blair. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. Lemon pie. It's good to see. Oh, sorry. It was a review. That was just Lemon Pie saying hi. Hey there, Lemon Pie. Good. Welcome. Eric K says B+. Andrew J. Robinson actually suffers from claustrophobia and had the flu while shooting his scenes. Shows the Jem'Hadar have more depth beside mindless killing machines. They have honor. Yes, they were been reading about Klingons. Hang on, let's see. Hang on a second, Eric. Still the age of where were I? Oh, okay. Still the age of still the age of them dumb. The age of them dumb? They do not eat or anything, please. They're anything, please. You do not get that way from not having mass quantities of food. How come the ships are all left close in working order? That one I didn't know why. I don't know why the runabout wasn't either destroyed or parked somewhere. I'm not sure that. As much as I like the episode, that made no sense. The DS9 stuff, blah. We did clone Bashir's smile. We did clone his smile. We didn't. No, we cloned his smile. He has a changeling warp inside a solar system. Do you only use warp in deep space now? Yeah, we have. Well, we've been over that. Thank you, buddy. Let's see here. Up and heel. Let's see. All right. Do we have Stevens? Oh no, it's backwards. Okay. Kal-El says A+. This was an absolutely wonderful episode and a worthy playoff to the story that part 1 set up. This episode was one of the rare times in the series that all of the plots contained within were engaging enough to keep the audience interested in finding out what was going on, what was going to happen to all of the characters involved. Garak really shines here as he faces his fear to complete the. Hang on there, Stephen. Oh, necessary task to help all the prisoners escape. Even Worf and Martok acknowledge this. Worf's bravery and fortitude shown in this episode that he is indeed a true Klingon warrior. Hang on. Worthy of the promised praise and song that Martok alluded to, while the Bashir changeling's tactics only reinforce the lengths that the Dominion will go to in order to defeat their enemies. 6. The only unsurprising element to the entire episode is Dukat. His betrayal by joining the Dominion and subsequently asserting that Cardassia would regain all that it had lost only reinforces what a jackass he is. I'm just kidding. The narcissistic type of individual he truly is. I really enjoyed this episode as it tells a great story while continuing the Dominion War narrative. Thank you so much, Kal-El, buddy, Super Wrench Supremes. Let's see. Lisa, on the other hand, said F. Wow, an F. My goodness. Hated it. Hated it. Should I emphasize that for you a little bit more, Lisa? Because I'm here for you. And look, man, can't blame you at all. I have some episodes I hate myself, and I like saying it. Garak's claustrophobia cured. Miraculous sarcasm. Warp within the solar system. Hated Worf fight. Can't beat him, so he wins. Lame. It did make me wonder why that guy just sacrificed himself for him, but he's a Jemadar. They don't know anything. Dominion has tech that can fool everyone. Game over. Thank you, Lisa. Not a big fan of this episode. I'm going to go way out on the limb.
I agree with you, Lisa.
Way to go, Lisa. Let's see. Up in here. Pleasant Valley Picker says A. Suspense. Cardassian switch sides equal to cot scum. The real Worf. I love Worf refusing to admit defeat, even if it kills him. Jemadar have no honor as they put a fresh opponent every day. No honor as they put a fresh opponent every day. Hang on, let me get your next one, sir. Give me a second. Great to see Galron. Great to see Galron. Bashir carrying a bomb intended to detonate inside the sun and kill everyone. Very evil. Dukat planning to kill his daughter made him a totally despicable character. By the way, I guess that changeling decided to, was a self-delete bomber. It was a kamikaze.
Yeah, and you would
think a changeling would do that, but okay.
Yeah, and what would happen to the Yeah. Anyway, I just think it's. I'm like Lisa. I have to be careful because if I start talking about the way that what I think about the writing in this episode, I'm going
You
to
have to
change
change
it
your
from C
review
plus
again.
to an F. So I need to stop talking right now.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Just want to add, Garrick's claustrophobia was fun. He has weaknesses which make him even more relatable. Thank PvP. All right, the wonderful Jill says A minus. Wrapping up a stellar first half is an incredible task that often goes unrequited, but not this time. Ducat's hatred for the Klingons and desperation for his world gives his actions believability. Garrick again steals away an incredible scene wherein his battle against his fear parallels Worf's Klingon resilience. Beautifully performed for both, and even gives the Jemadar some character. Yes, indeed. It's a wonderful kickoff to the war with the crew working together with Kira at the seat to save the solar system in a confrontation so serious, even the Romulans show up against the Dominion. Thank you, Jilly. Let's see. True enough. All right. Let's see here. Wolfie.
Mr. Angel, we're on Inferno's light, sweetheart.
Yes. Wolfie says,
Clobby.
No problem. You know, Wolfie says, A minus. You know the saying, the beatings will continue until morale improves. This is beatings to improve morale, I guess. Excuse me. Only thing I'm a little confused on is leaving the runabout in transporter range of the prison. Nice reuse of the trilithium doomsday weapon from Generations. Hang on, Wolfie. Find your other one here. I know you got another one. Hang on, Wolf. Trying to find Wolfie's number 3.
Lots of reviews tonight. If you can't find it, you tell me.
I don't see it yet. I'm backtracking a little.
Okay. Lots of people want to speak tonight. Hey, how come that came at 11 minutes past the hour? Where's his 3 of 3? Where did it go?
I can't find his 3. I can't find Wolfie.
Yeah, but it's not here.
It's not here. Can't find
where the heck did it go?
I don't know.
It's not here, boss. I'm looking through one more time, and it's not here. And then right after that, Wolfie has a conversation where he tags Kal-El. But no 3 of 3. His 3 of 3 is gone.
Weird.
It's gone.
I don't know.
Phantom Outsider put one in late, but not.
Did I get him?
Oh, Michael Carney's here.
Hey, Michael Carney. All right, Michael Carney.
Wolfie.
Good to see you.
Oh, here it is. He just put it up. It's right here.
Oh, it wasn't ready yet. Okay.
No, now it is, boss. It's right here.
All righty. No problem. Let's see. Okey-dokey. Let me. Where am I? The scum-sucking Kardashians join the Dominion, declared Ducat leader. How effing stupid can they be, Garrick? In the walls remind me of Butts Afraid to Leave and Escape from Alcatraz. I'd seen that in a while. Great Clint Eastwood movie with number 6 as the warden. Number 6 meaning, of course, the great Patrick McGoohan. What's this Phantom Outsider one?
Oh, nothing. Just that his last one came up very delayed as well. So I was just wondering if something's going on. And Eric DM'd it to me. I love you, Eric. Thank you, honey. Thank you for watching our backs.
It's weird because some of these, like I'm seeing again, where somebody's Theirs is in there twice. Someone has one in there twice. But we'll get to it.
That was, I think, Captain James T. Skywalker, and I think it's because he put one in super, super early, like before you said fire at will, and then he put in a second one, but I believe it was slightly different, so I tagged them both.
Okay, gotcha. Classic Comics says A-. The plot with Garrick using the equipment in the walls to signal the shuttle feels contrived. The Dominion just left it sitting there. Yeah, I've always wondered about this, just floating around out there. Okay, but the ruse of an invasion to set up the Fed and allies was clever, I thought. A solid conclusion. Worf and Garrick are an entertaining pair. Agreed this for sure. Agreed.
Oh, you're very welcome, Captain James T. Skywalker. I do my best to keep track of you all. Sometimes you get vaporized from YouTube, but I have my eagle eyes on you, and I care about and I know Clobby does too. We both care very much about everything you all have to say. So we definitely want to get those comments up there. Sorry if you get nuked by the platform. It might have been because of the scum sucking thing. That might be why I can't see it on this side. Nukatash. Anyway.
Gotcha. Max Redstone says C+. The 5-ship kamikaze squad send the runabouts. I mean, we need to see the joining of the Cardassians and the Dominion, but why not just send out a guy in a spacesuit with a hand phaser?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Asteroid 371 is a great combination of Fight Club and The Great Escape. I love it when Les Landau directs Garrick. When he directs, Garrick's claustrophobia is more interesting than we know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Up until portraying Garrick, Andrew Robinson suffered from claustrophobia. When he first saw himself in a mirror in full Cardassian makeup, Robinson said he no longer felt that fear.
Oh, wow.
Wow. This episode has a plot hole the size of a Borg cube. Where the hell is Odo? Worf is MIA. The station is actively being sabotaged by a Dominion agent. An invasion is imminent.
Yep.
Deep Space Nine needs someone in charge of security worse than Breen needs a refrigeration unit. No one is there. No explanation is provided. It's a lazy writer's error, which demands that determine. What do you mean? Like they didn't have Odo in the episode? I thought it was in the episode. Maybe
no, it's like he sees like this dereliction of duty, like because Odo should be able to detect Bashir, and just there are all these different points in the story that Max feels like the writer should have been cleaner and should have been more involved in the story and really made sure that they got the details right. And Claude Salling is here, boss.
Oh, hey, Claude Salling. Hey there, good to see you. I think I would be willing to accept him not able to detect the Bashir changeling if they would explain why. Like Odo's doesn't have the kind of experience. They have a way to fool him somehow, but you should explain it.
Yeah, because before he could detect what another changeling, like as if he had spider senses, like Spider-Man, and then and that was when he was a human.
I don't know, when he was a changeling, the time that remember the one that was on the Defiant when he killed that changeling, he didn't know who he was either, and he remember they had all those drills where they're all practicing to find a changeling. Yes, he doesn't. There are plenty of times changelings fooled Odo before that.
It's true, but this is what I think why Max is raising this point, because Max is sort of saying, don't go back and forth on this. Don't be a lazy writer. Don't make errors. And the thing is that I think that people would be a lot more forgiving if this was one author who wrote a short story and then somebody turned it into a teleplay and it was on TV. But this is a writer's room that is supposed to have, you know what I mean? It's supposed to be a whole bunch of people and an editor and people checking for continuity and things like that. So I think Max is just expressing his disappointment that such a huge team of writers aren't there to watch each other's backs and make sure that the product they're putting out is good, right? So, yeah.
Indeed. Max continues. Also, wasn't it just so damn lucky that the Jimidar had valet service that brought Worf's runabout from the nebula to the asteroid? I'm
Right?
giving this internment asteroid a 5-star Yelp review.
I
Nice.
totally agree, Max.
Dave G. Sound says B. I like the story. I'll leave it at that. That's well done, sir. Thank you. B from the great Mega Cropper.
Mega
Always good to see you.
crapper.
Mega Cropper, good to see you, sir. Simply Steve says C plus. Not as good as the previous episode, but where to begin your warp? Let's see. How about inside the solar system? Where else are you gonna warp from? The Dominion rules as the Jimidar seem like bullies. Okay. Let's see here. Captain James C. Skywalker says Mr. Woof gives Garrick props for his work between the walls. Was good character stuff. The runabout got away because writers. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's
I mentioned in my notes about the runabout thing too. I think it's really bad, and if nothing else, it should have been powered down like it is in Star Wars, where they take the ship and maybe they want to use it for something. So so they keep the runabout, but they power it down and they park it. And they wait till somebody comes and picks it up and takes it to a boneyard to strip it down and take all of its Starfleet information out of it. But to have it running and waiting for them, that's why I put that in my notes too, everyone. I didn't like that either. And not good.
Admiral Teague says there are a good deal of bad DS9 episodes, yet it's so many people's favorite Trek show. I just can't reconcile that aspect, but I can't. But I accept it as real Star Trek. Well, I'm kind of with you there, Admiral. I'm the same way with that. Going back through them, I'm finding a lot of bad ones, but I still like the show. It's just not my favorite Trek. What I don't get is, I get liking it a lot, and if it's your favorite, that's cool. But I just don't understand anyone liking anything better than TOS. But I guess I'm just old-fashioned that way.
No, you're not.
I'm proud of it. It says
I love
B.
TOS.
It's the one. It is the one. It is the
It's
way.
the only one.
B. You can beat Worf, but you can't break him. The Jimidar have their own code of honor. Garrick shows the fortitude to get the job done. You can get past claustrophobia temporarily if you really need to. I once broke the restraints on a CAT scan, but has successfully navigated X-ray and MRIs recently. Sorry. It's a pain, but it can be done. Crawl spaces, however, no thanks. Yep. I understand, sir.
Michael Beacom wants everyone in the chat to know that he is at home. So you know what that means? That means that Michael Beacom is close by that text. And so now he can fully engage.
Hey, Michael Beacom, good to see you, my friend. And shout out to the lovely Sandra. Cassandra, I mean.
Oh, Cassandra. I was going to say what?
I'm sorry.
Yes, we love Cassandra.
We have the lovely Sandra of the Felicianos, who's not here tonight, but so that's I'm always used to saying either Cassandra or Sandra. So, all right. So Shooter says, "A. Now that's an intro. The Dominion on DS9's doorstep, and they turn away, and Ducat revealing he and the Kardashians have joined the Dominion. Hell of a plot twist. Also, remember Cisco's visions?
Mm-hmm. Locusts.
I'm surprised Bashir didn't bring up his engineering extension courses when talking about wiring in a message for the runabout. Never turn your back on a Breen. Good advice. Well, I guess they have to study up on somebody pretty good before they copy them. Yeah, mm-hmm. But they wouldn't know everything, would they? Why leave the runabout in orbit? Destroy it, dismantle it. Plenty of more logical options. Claustrophobia is not an ideal condition for a spy. Garrick shows courage in pushing through.
Mm-hmm.
Who else went when the Romulans decloaked?
Yeah, me.
Also, you did?
Yeah, I thought it was cool for the writers to basically declare that the Dominion is such a threat it can draw everyone together,
Right.
and that everyone can set aside their differences to fight for good. I think that's like one of the only times in DS9 where I'm willing to accept all this war crap. So I agree with Shooter on that one.
Also, when Martok told Worf to stay down, did anyone flash back to the first Rocky movie? I didn't, Shooter, but I do love that movie, so I'm glad someone did.
Mm-hmm.
And our final review of this episode of the evening to deal with us of this episode. We got one more to go after this. B plus, Great Escape from the Dominion Prison. Overall, the two-parter is well done, but it was a little too convenient that the Klingons and Romulans were right there and ready to defend DS9. Yeah. Ben Grimm would have been proud of Worf's fighting spirit. It was very the Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 7, wasn't it? It reminds me of the Thing's fight against the Champion, which, of course, is from that comic book. Me too. I knew you were going to, someone was going to mention that, and it had to be you, buddy, because we've reviewed that once. We've reviewed that comic, right? Yeah. It's Katika, whatever the hell. I'm not going to, I'm going to.
Just say the Jemadar Commander.
Jemadar Commander, I yield. I cannot defeat this Klingon. All I can do is kill him, and that is no longer holds my interest. So I will delete myself. Oh, wow. Well, there we go. There we have it for another episode. Are we ready to move on? Oh, Michael Beacom says,
yeah.
By Inferno's Light, page 426. Ira Bear says that they should have done 1 2-hour block or 45 minutes instead of splitting it into 2 parts. Feels like it lost something in the split. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Michael.
Well, yeah, that does make sense, because if you write something that is like a longer form and you say to yourself, I want to bust this into 2, well, you're completely changing everything, because then you sort of need this cliffhanger, and then you need then you need to add this refresher material at the second part. So you are changing the story significantly, and you're ruining the rhythm of it. So yeah, I like that comment. That's good.
Are we ready?
I'm glad he recognizes his suck.
Indeedishness. How about we're ready for our final episode of the evening?
Let's do it.
All right, everybody. It is, of course, Dr. Bashir, I presume.
Dr. Bashir, I presume, is season 5, episode 16, or prod code 514. We all watched this for the very first time on February 24th, 1997. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from Wikipedia about the plot for this episode. Let's go. Hologram engineer Lewis.
I have to grab a piece of medicine real quick. I'll leave the con to you, but I'll be right back. I won't let you out of my earshot.
Okay, Eric is here, and Mark D with the C, you're here, honey. Watch my 6. Okay, hologram engineer Louis Zimmerman comes to Deep Space Nine with the intent of using Dr. Bashir's likeness as a template for the holographic program designed to provide medical treatment. In order to make the program as robust as possible, Zimmerman needs a complete personality profile on Bashir. Against Bashir's wishes, Zimmerman invites Julian's estranged parents, Amsha and Richard Bashir, to the station to be interviewed. Bashir is ashamed by his father's tendency toward self-aggrandizement. For example, Richard references a time when he ran shuttles, when in fact he was merely just a steward and was fired shortly into his career. Julian implores his parents not to reveal to Zimmerman anything about a secret from his childhood, and they are angered that he thinks they would be so sloppy. Later, his parents go to the infirmary to assuage their son's fears, stating emphatically that they will not tell Zimmerman that they had Julian illegally genetically modified when he was a child. However, they are unaware that they are speaking to Zimmerman's new hologram rather than their son. Zimmerman and Chief O'Brien are in the next room and hear everything they say. O'Brien informs Julian about what he heard. Sorry, you guys, this writing's weird. Julian is furious, but confirms that he was genetically modified as a child. He was a poor student, apparently had a learning disability, and seemed destined for failure. His parents took him for DNA resequencing, greatly improving his intelligence and his physicality. With the secret out, Bashir sees no alternative but to resign from Starfleet. Genetically modified individuals are banned from Starfleet and from practicing medicine. Before Bashir can tender his resignation, his parents take matters into their own hands. Richard strikes a deal with the Judge Advocate General. Richard will spend 2 years in a minimum security prison for illegal genetic engineering, and Julian is allowed to retain his commission and his father's license, and his medical license. Father is right underneath it. Sorry, everyone. Julian makes some peace with his parents as they depart for Earth, grateful for his father's sacrifice. Meanwhile, Zimmerman pursues Dabo girl Lita's affections, asking her to accompany him back to Jupiter Station. Shy Ram is too scared to say anything to convince her to stay, although Lita would welcome any reason to stay with him. She is on the verge of leaving with Zimmerman when Ram careens around the corner, yelling his head off, I might add, and gives her a long-awaited reason to stay. I love you, Lita reciprocates and agrees to stay. And that is all Wikipedia has to say about Dr. Bashir, I presume. Boss, what did you think of this episode?
I'm not all that. The whole him being an augment and all that stuff. I'm not crazy about the idea. I mean, the episode is entertaining enough if you don't mind that, I guess. Although it's still, you got the D story going on, which you remember your old Miles?
Mm-hmm.
Might be time to make a new one.
I know, because we're going to get to Ram. It's so bad. It's very bad. Only it's worse because with previously it was Miles, just got it done. With Lita, she's extremely sexy, so it's worse because she's like, Ram.
She picks Ram though. Good.
I know.
Ram Space Knight. I mean, I like Ram, but good Lord. I guess if I'm just to go ahead and just accept that they did this to Bashir, it's kind of a weird thing to do, making him an augment, really, sort of, except without superpowers. He's just smart, just. Hey, DJ Ronnie G, hello there.
DJ Ronnie G.
Were you here earlier? Did I mention it?
Yes, he was here earlier. I thought you called him out, but if we missed you, we love you.
DJ Sound was here, not DJ. I don't think DJ was here, but maybe. Anyway, Ronnie G, what's up? Good to see you. So, I mean, it's a harmless enough, entertaining episode with some good, I like, it's always good to see Robert Picardo. Of course. He's really good in it. It's, again, another one of those innocuous type harmless episodes that I don't really care much for him being an augment type stuff, but it's still, it's benign, I guess. That's what, again, later they actually make some interesting use of him being one. I agree. It's an entertaining episode. I don't hate it or anything. Maybe I should.
Lemon Pie just stole my joke. That joke is in my notes, Lemon Pie. How dare you steal my joke? Get out of my head.
I'll let you go for it with the notes then.
Okay. Zimmerman has no pips. I want to know why. He's in Starfleet, so why?
He's wearing a uniform. Yeah.
Pardon?
Yes, he's wearing a sort of a uniform, isn't he?
No, he's wearing a full uniform, and he should have pips. He also works for Starfleet, right? Like even Dr. McCoy. Anyway. It's very Noonien Song to see him, the way he's behaving, but he's very clearly Starfleet. So they try and make him seem as though he's like Noonien Song, but he's in full uniform. So the pips need to be addressed.
Yeah. Okay.
Science fiction at last. Science fiction at last. With a
Yes.
rom-com, ha ha ha, rom-com, B plot.
Ooh.
Lita is such a cutie, and Rom taking the place of Broccoli as a pure nerd who is awkward around
Yeah.
women, a genius at engineering, is quite lovely. I don't normally like the romantic comedy stuff, but I'm sorry. I think the Lita character is absolutely gorgeous, and I find Rom to be a very pure nerd. I love that he's a genius engineer. He's totally awkward around people. And rather than being a creepo to a woman with, size E breasts and rockin' body and a beautiful face, teeny tiny
Mm-hmm.
nose, big eyes, sweet voice. Instead of being a creepo with her, he not only respects her, but he's
True.
totally intimidated by her and treats her like a lady. So I love
Yeah,
this
that's good.
example. This is another broccoli moment for me, and you all know how I feel about true nerds. Okay, I love my broccoli. I love my rom in this case. Okay. Now, the A plot turns in another direction. So we sort of see a filthing of the A plot for a very short period of time. Julian is ashamed of his father, implying that Richard is a liar and a failure. We go back to science fiction and we start talking about genetic engineering again and DNA resequencing. I'm cheering. It's very important to mention that people are always saying that the augments are from the 21st century. And it's actually the 20th century. So when you're on IMDb and you're on Memory Alpha and all this, you see all these people always like saying after one another as though it's true, oh, the augments are from the 21st century. They're not. And I'm going to quote Spock later, and I'll give you the receipts you need. Julian not knowing a tree from a house at age 6 does not fit in with the previous characterizations that we know of Julian Bashir up to
Yeah.
this point.
It's very retcon. Yeah.
He was supposed to, like, from birth to know that he wanted to be a doctor. In another episode, he was like a star tennis player. He knew it from when he was quite little. So just more of this BS. Get the story straight. Get the character straight. Miles
Retcon.
says Miles says they haven't had a case of genetic manipulation in 100 years. The current year is 2373. So what Miles is asserting is the last case was 2273. That's ridiculous. Space Seed takes place in 2267 and reveals that the last of the augments were from the 1990s. And that is also when Star Trek officially declares the eugenics wars took place. So some people even say that you can narrow it down because it's implied that it was in the middle of the 1990s. Prinadora. I love this storyline of the fact that they come from this culture where there's this dowry and all this stuff going on, and that his wife completely used him. And he's like a nerd and a kind gentleman who is sweet and gentle with women. And he exudes kindness, and he's very, very smart. And yet this woman completely used him and then broke his heart and abandoned her son. So I think that's a very cutting edge, brave story to tell. I wish we told more stories about this because I think those kind of stories are important. And I just wrote in my notes, poor little Rami, poor little Nog, because now Rom is he's my broccoli. We get some beautiful dialogue from Julian Bashir's mom. Whomever wrote this dialogue did a wonderful job. It's very revealing about what we will face as a species. So here we're seeing a futurism. This isn't something that is science fantasy. This is science future. This is science fiction. And when she passionately describes what it's like to be a parent and to look in the mirror and to say to yourself, I am hopelessly flawed. Look at all the things that are wrong with me. I'm ugly. I'm not smart enough. Why can't I change this stupid crap about myself? And what am I doing by having a child? What am I doing to that child? I just want to fix all the things that are wrong with me in that child. And her saying that to her son is the sweetest thing ever. And I really think it's going to be something that people face in the future when we do face genetic engineering. We're almost at that right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we long to correct the things that are wrong with us in our offspring. And so that is going to be a great temptation to overcome our own shortcomings, living vicariously through our children and doing the unspeakable or the unthinkable, altering their genetic patterns, altering them in utero, altering their genetic structure. It's crazy. And Dr. Harari talks about it, Oxford professor. I read a lot of Dr. Harari's books. Yeah, quite a dialogue going on about that in the science and technology community. I can tell you that, folks. The Admiral says 200 years ago, we were making augments. This is complete balderdash. Once
It's
again, it is
400.
2373. That would be
Yeah.
2173, not 1990. And 1990 is not the 20th century or 21st century, like you see on all of these Star Trek forums, IMDb, Memory Alpha and stuff. It's the 20th century.
Right.
And then we go back to the rom-com. Ha ha, rom-com. I love rom-com. And then I just want to quote Spock here from Space Seed, just so everyone can get their SHIT straight and stop saying just crap that you read on the internet. Wikipedia is not a source. IMDb is not a source. Memory Alpha is not a source. Just stop repeating crap. Get your facts straight. This is a direct quote from Spock. A DY-100 class is from the 1990s. Spock, Space Seed. This happens at 1 minute, 14 seconds, season 1, episode 23. McCoy then immediately responds to him, speaking about the eugenics wars. And it is strongly implied that basically for all of the 90s, or at least the middle part of them, we're fighting the eugenics wars. And then we have another quote. Your attempt to improve the race through selective breeding. This is said by Spock at 4 minutes and 5 seconds. And then I have another quote that begins with an ellipses. A group of ambitious scientists. Bones says this at 4 minutes and 10 seconds. So stop saying the 21st century. And it's 1990s. The end.
They're not the only time this has been done too, that they've said that crap. Yeah.
I know. And all of these people who are so-called Star Trek experts that are always barfing all this crap that they read on these user-generated forums, they just make it worse. And then what they do is they make the show seem stupid. Like they make the show seem dumb. People don't understand. The reason why we criticize these drama writers is because they're not science fiction authors. And sometimes they crap the bed. They poop. They make a little poopy diaper. And sometimes they make a hill of poopy diapers. And it's our job as readers and as viewers to call them on it, because we love Gene Roddenberry. We love this stuff. This is our story. This is our pretend place to be. And if you don't get it right, we're going to call you on your crap unapologetically. Look, you get paid. And you have a room full of people to help you do this. Get your crap together. Get your crap together.
Yeah.
And that's the end of my rant. Sorry, boss. And that's also the end of my notes.
Well, what is your rating of Dr. Bashir, I presume?
So I'm really torn on this one. We see some huge mistakes being made about canon, just basic canon and basic math failures. Some things that really make me angry. But you know what? I have my science fiction. I have this idea that I get to massage in my head yet another time that I've been doing since 1997 in all of my rewatches. This idea, we are going to face this genetic resequencing crap, and we really have to think about what's going to motivate people. It's not going to be the Frankenstein type parents who, it's not just going to be them who they want to make like a Brutus, like a meathead that will rule the world or win the Olympics. It's also going to be beautiful, kind people who see flaws in themselves and they'll want to change their children. And so I find this a very compelling storyline. Of course, everyone knows here I'm a science fiction author and a science fiction rabid fan. So all I want is science fiction. So I'm very happy to see science fiction. And I have to say, I hate romantic comedy. It bugs me. I'm very irritated by it. I don't like it. But Rom is the height of wonderful nerd. He's my broccoli. And also, I feel so bad about what happened to him with his rotten shrew of an ex-wife. I love him, so I'm going to forgive the rom-com, and I just enjoyed the science fiction aspect of it because that's what science fiction's supposed to do. Science fiction. So I give this one a B minus, but only because the writers screwed up our canon. And that's it.
Well, there you go. I'm giving it a B minus also. B for Bashir. I mean, again, I'm not so sure I like the idea, but the premise, but everything else in the episode is pretty enjoyable. The character stuff and all of that. So yeah, it's an entertaining one. And man, there you go. Good performances. It's nice to see Robert Picardo playing that character. So yeah. All right. Yeah. By the way, this is not the first time they've screwed over the eugenics wars timeline. Actually, it might be the first time, but remember they came and doubled down and screwed it in Enterprise as well. When
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, well, everyone, I will now ask our wonderful chat to please give us your ratings and any words you may have on Dr. Bashir, I presume. And while number one is gathering those, I will bring us some more Max Redstone entertainment. Let's see. All right, sirs and ladies. Our final Max Redstone limerick of the evening. Dr. Bashir, I presume. Julian, dear Julian, we know you are smart. Starfleet even wants to play the... I think... let me start over because we left out a word by accident. Julian, dear Julian, we know you are smart. Starfleet even wants you to play the EMH part. But Dr. Zimmerman is crude. He is haughty and rude. You'll send Julian's dad to prison and will try to steal Lita's heart. There you go. Thank you so much, the great Max Redstone. Appreciate you, buddy. Our wonderful, beautiful friend Katie, who I believe had to cut out early, left this one for us earlier. Dr. Bashir, I presume, one of my favorite episodes. We don't solve problems, we create new plans. I thought it depicted an ethical dilemma and how to think, not what to think. Solid A. Thank you, Katie. Love you. Mr. Angel says B+. Overall, a good episode touching some serious social issues in the Federation. I could say a lot, but Raquel read my mind. My turn. Get out of my head. Rom, Space Knight, and Lita. Love, by the way. I like it.
Yay! I love you, Mr. Angel.
Thank you, Chef. Appreciate you, bro. The wonderful NT derivative Jill, communications officer extraordinaire, says B. I enjoyed the research involved in creating an AI that emulates someone's personality, but the consequences Julian's father pays for altering his son's genome seem light. Yeah.
Boss, I just want to interject
Yes.
very quickly. Please don't stop what you're doing, but I have to say, Sean Carter from Mars.
Oh, Sean Carter from Mars is here. My goodness, that's Sean.
He's here.
Good to see you, my friend. All right, that's sorry. Having trouble with my notebook. Sean, thank you for being here, my friend. It's great to see you. All righty. So where were we? Okay. Julian says this is against Starfleet's rules, but the lax consequences in this instance might encourage other parents to copy this behavior if stricter rules after the incident are not reinforced. Well, that's a good point. That is law and order stuff for sure, Jill. However, it's good to see a father who isn't afraid to learn responsibility for his son. Also, Picardo's performance is always entertaining. Yes, he is. Who does not love the great Robert Picardo? Max Redstone said B. Chase Masterson is quite the pursuit. Enough said. She's
a
indeed.
cutie patootie.
Oh, yeah. Good Lord, yeah. let's see here.
And
Kal-El says,
evidently a person with really great morals and ethics, because she cares about the sum of a man, not his, not his visage, not his popularity or how handsome or tall he is. She just cares that he's a good man. So it says a lot of good things about nerds, and it also says a lot of good things about some beautiful women out there. Not every beautiful woman is shallow.
well,
Anyway.
Stephen, the great Kal-El says, A-. The A plot of this of this Julian Bashir centric episode was top notch and wonderfully told. However, the B plot involving Rom and Lita, although Rom and Space Knight, and Lita, although it does further develop the characters and puts them together, was completely unnecessary in my opinion. Louis Zimmerman is an obnoxious jerk who doesn't understand anything about decency and honoring a promise made to another. He's lucky by the way, he's lucky he lives in an era where retaliation of a certain type isn't the norm in Starfleet. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of tempted. I was hoping Bashir would have grabbed him by the throat and said, "Hey, dude, I ought to kick your ass."
Yeah.
He shouldn't have, but still, kind of wanted to see us get his ass kicked. Bashir's parents, while flawed, truly care for their son, as it's revealed later with his mother's explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Hang on. For what they did, as well as his father taking full responsibility for the act later. This was an enjoyable episode overall, which shows how Star Trek can handle morally ambiguous situations. Indeed. Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate that. The great
Boss man,
Kal-El, yes.
DVB has to leave, and he says, "Thank you so much for tonight." He's stepping out, and he says thanks. So everyone, please say goodnight to DVB. DVB, thank you for joining us. We're so happy you had a great time with us, and we hope to see you
Absolutely.
again.
Thank you, DVB. Sorry, appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Pleasant Valley Picker says, "I enjoyed seeing a backstory episode with Julian. Nice character building. I don't care about Julian haters, as I think he's a solid character." I'm a big Julian fan myself there, PvP, so I understand. I like Julian. I always did. I guess he does have haters. I don't know. Could be. Nice seeing his parents. This genetic engineering plot line was interesting. The Robert Picardo stuff was fun. A nice way to introduce a bit of Voyager. He was arrogant to the point of funny. Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm trying to find your next one. Here we go. Enjoyed the B story. Great fun as Lita is so cute. I always enjoy seeing her, and can relate to poor Rom being in love but not being able to show it. I was happy he finally told her how he felt.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you for that one. The great Eric K says B-. Good to have some background on the Good Doctor and entertaining. I do not know how much Trek this is, though. Seemed like sands of the hourglass these are the days of Deep Space Nine.
I do agree with that, because I do think that they spend too much time on like why Bashir is upset with his parents. But so yeah, it takes a turn for me too, Eric. But do feel it redeems itself and reintroduces that science fiction dilemma that we are going to be facing very soon, with that lovely delivery by his beautiful mom. But that little blip where you're like, oh, why are we talking about this? Who cares?
Indeedishness. Dave G. Sound says C. It was another comfort episode. Bashir being exposed was also used as a plot tool to add a data aspect to a character in following episodes, with his openly spouting calculations and athletics.
Athletics.
Is it athletics? Oh, sorry. And athletics. Gotcha. True. Good point. Crappy eyesight. Okay.
It
Wolfie?
happens after you've been reading for a long time, especially if you haven't read it before. I don't think people understand that. I think many do, though. It's kind of wild reading, cold reading, for 3 or 4 hours. It's
It's
nuts.
embarrassing. Rating B plus. Dr. Z, you mean like from Galactica 1980? Wow. Oh no, Dr. Zimmerman, sorry. Just kidding. Wolfie will get that one, I think. Wow, what a miserable creep. Some really deep stuff here
Hmm.
about family redemption and gene manipulation.
Yep.
We don't get to see a Starfleet drag very often. No, that's
Yes.
true enough. Oddly, we're introduced into a new Jaeger class starship, a kit bash of two off the shelf model kits for Voyager. Oh, wow.
I love Wolfie.
Wolfie rocks with that stuff.
Wolfie rocks.
And roars too, and growls even. A minus for shooter. He says, an A and B story. B story is filler, but I like it. It's not great, but definitely not bad.
Yeah.
And Robert Picardo, who doesn't like the Dr. EMH from
Yeah.
Voyager. Yeah, Picardo's great. As for the A story, you begin to think this will be a goofy, fun episode. Then, bam, Julian is genetically engineered. It works well, and the ending is good. Someone has to go to prison. Yes. While this makes a bland character more interesting, I never thought he was bland. I like him, but I like Julian. I always did. More interesting. It has some repercussions for past episodes. Poor Zimmerman never gets the girl. Oh wait, who's that sharing the transport? Yeah. And again, they kind of when the Zimmerman character is seen on Voyager, it seems like it's maybe a lot of years later or something because it's a very different position.
Yeah.
Too bad there isn't too much talk of the moral implications, but the parents' dilemma is a real one that would exploit genetic engineering.
Yeah.
And we still have those hollow communicators.
Yep. Larry says that everyone needs to put their reviews into word bubbles for Clobby because you know word bubbles and you would read them perfectly.
I still screw them up, though. But thank you, Larry.
I love that response. That's a cool thing to say.
Never underestimate my ability to screw something up. Like, just saying. Not bragging or anything. DJ Ronnie G says B minus, I suppose. Well, if you're not sure, you can always change it later. We won't hold you to it.
Yeah.
Simply
You can change your mind.
Anytime. Absolutely. Or is there something wrong with the one I have? So. C minus. State the nature of your problem. I have no pips.
Yeah.
Review of the hologram doc on Voyager, Bashir background and parents good and interesting, mentioning eugenics with mistaken writing.
Yes.
Bad.
I agree, Steve.
Indeed, it's just Mega Cropper says B.
Me.
It's a fair cop, but society is to blame. Classic Comics says B. A big episode for Bashir, whose character needed some embellishment. Lita falling for Rom Space Knight is pure nerd wish fulfillment. True enough. It feels a bit like pandering to their audience by the writers. Indeed,
that's
CC.
Fair. That's fair.
I understand.
But I love pandering to nerds.
I would like to be pandered to myself occasionally. Masters. Maniac Mexico says A minus. It has some minor issues, but I found it all in all funny and very involving. Sci-fi as I like it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, there you go,
nice.
MMM. Absolutely ishness. The great Michael Beacom says C. Rom Space Nine and Lita. If you wonder about the possibility a total nerd and a cute girl hooking up, let's just say that I totally identify. Need to show you pics of Cassandra and I in our 20s.
No, good. This is so cute.
Understand, sir. Page 430. Basically, it means of the block of the
Erdman block text.
The companion.
Yep.
Basically, this episode exists because Moore had to add a talk with Robert Picardo, who wanted to show up on DS9 as he had cameoed in First Contact. Oh, well, yeah. Okay. Oh, really? Wow. Interesting. They admit on page 433 of the companion that they screwed up the eugenics wars timeline.
Oh, good.
I was thinking about the line Khan delivered in Star Trek II, how on Earth 200 years ago, I was a prince,
Mm-hmm.
the power over millions. And I just wrote down, the thing is, it was 200 years ago, just keeping with spacey, but then the motion picture, the movie that came out before Wrath of Khan, said it was 300 years in the future. So they kind of, and it was the 23rd century.
Yep.
And even at the beginning of Wrath of Khan, it says in the 23rd century. So it was all mixed up because I guess Gene or whomever decided to go ahead and say, hey, everybody, remember those times we said it was 200 years in the future on the series? No, it's 300. Just don't worry about it. So in Wrath of Khan, in following with that, they should have just, if they were going to do that and just ignore the 200, they probably should have had a concept on Earth 300 years ago. But what can you do? They mess things up sometimes. 200 more laughs. It was wrong. Glad you are laughing more. We are not.
Yes, exactly. Boss Man, a great review, Michael Beacom, and I'm sending a hug out to Cassandra Beacom because you two are such romantic, crazy kids. Also, Boss, the great bronze wrencher, Eric K., the man, the myth, the legend, has left a present for you, and I have started. It is in your starred tab.
Oh, thank you, Eric. You're too kind, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. He said, what was the name of the brain you got? Abby Normal. Little young Frankenstein lingo there, my friends. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you, brother. Let's see here. Fanty Outside Russ says, B, it's odd that Starfleet would not allow an individual who needs a treatment so they can become a productive member of society. The tech exists for you to become a doctor, but no, a slow-witted individual is way more useful to society. I mean, where will the next crop of Starfleet admirals come from? But you can get the procedure so long as you aren't in Starfleet. How many MDs on Earth? Let's see. Are augments. Wouldn't it be wiser to have them in Starfleet where they can be monitored? Nah. But remember, those making these decisions passed on the procedure and became admirals.
The mad admiral trope.
I hear you there, sir.
Well, it's important to remember, though, that later on we will learn that the DNA sequencing doesn't go quite as planned, but I'm not going to ruin it by revealing spoilers.
And true. Lisa says, B for Bashir. I love that character and the actor who plays him. Interesting episode. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Lisa. And
it's decent, this one. Hey, Lisa.
A final review of the evening is from the great chief engineer, Monica D. with a C. He says,
Woke Breaker. The Woke Breaker's here. Hail chat, Woke Breaker yells.
Woke Breaker.
Woke Breaker.
What is up with your
Dream Maker? Love Taker.
Yeah, and love it. Good to see you. Mark D says, he says, B. We all know the dangers of genetic engineering in the Trek universe, but if DNA resequencing is that easy, wouldn't it be more common? I can't imagine that it would be easy to put that cat back in the bag once these treatments are available. This episode also contradicts Starfleet knowing that number one was genetically, was from, but that's not real Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, did they put that in the DC Fontana book? That still doesn't count. Engineered in the novel Vulcan's Glory by Dave. Yeah, but they don't follow books.
No.
Although technically not as can. Yeah, he acknowledged that though. My favorite character from Voyager is the Doctor, so it was great to see him as a solid. And yes, this episode. But I love that line when they mentioned something about holograms being, trouble. He says, "Why does everyone think that holograms are going to take over the universe," or whatever it was? That was great. The lovely Lita Wowzers, of course. Ram Space Knight gets the girl. He has great lobes. And Michael Beacom has number 4. Did I miss one? 200 more laughs. It was wrong. Glad you are laughing more. We're not. We are not.
Did
I don't know.
Put that up there twice? That should.
You just put it back up there.
Did I? No.
You just did.
Did I?
It just popped back up into my. Yeah.
Weird. I don't remember doing that.
I wasn't over there. Must have been you.
Oh, maybe the chat jumped when I clicked on Eric.
And you could hit a star.
Possible.
When you hit a star. Well,
We're done.
Oh hell yeah. Mark D, carte blanche if you feel like it. We got some things to show. We have a
Where the
special
heck are
feature
you,
for you.
Mark?
Where are you, boy? Unless you don't feel like it. But I mean, it's not like you're, Otherwise, Mark C to the bridge, calling Mark C to the bridge. We have some
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
Hey, everyone.
woo!
I beamed in.
We have some cool stuff for everybody.
Nice.
Tonight, some
Raquel,
extra
you're not a
features.
duplicate there, maybe? We got to check to make sure she didn't get taken over by a changeling posting messages twice.
I am not a duplicate. I'm not a replicant. I am not a changeling. If I were a changeling, I would fly away right now to Bora Bora, and I would not come back.
That's right. You could turn into one of those hawks, right? And just
That is right.
Yep, fly away. Yep.
Let's see.
All right, so you got some good stuff.
The great Wolfie has sent us some pics, as he is
Cool.
sometimes want to do, and we always appreciate that. All right, let's see. Let me see up in here. Okay, dokily. All right, folks. Who wants to see some spaceships?
Ooh.
I always like spaceships.
Who
Yeah.
wants to play some spaceships, my friends?
Can never have too many
Alright.
spaceships. Thank you, Wolfie.
All right, let's see.
Ooh,
What,
nice.
Wolfie, if you're there, see if you can talk us through these.
Yeah.
What we
Wolfie?
seeing?
What are we looking at,
These are some
sweetheart?
stuff from Voyager. And that is
Maquis ship.
Maquis ship. I say. He's got a.
Yeah, so they take the front hull of the Voyager there, and then the warp nacelles. So the classic kit bashing, probably one of the most famous examples.
got
although
it.
it's always happens, is Star Wars. Was,
Yep.
Some of the more famous kit bashing that. But look at Space Seed. That's a submarine model that was kit bashed with some other models to make
Cool.
make that spaceship. So
Can I just say right now, Wolfie, you're a big nerd. Nerds.
I love
Nerds.
this stuff. Yeah.
That he is, and he likes it.
Boss.
So,
And
you
then
still here,
Nerds.
or what?
Boss.
Oh, wait a minute. Michael Bacon says, did you get the trivia about this episode? This episode was related to Ray Harryhausen by virtue of his wife, Diana. It was the great granddaughter of the real Dr. Livingston. No, what?
Wow.
Why? Did you send me something or what? Were you saying did I get the trivia? I don't know. Did you send something? Anyway, Wolfie says, yep, they made a starship of 2 off-shelf monogram model kits that were readily available at the time of this episode. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Boss.
What?
Look at the chat.
You have a
All right.
request.
Look, look, we don't do requests around here.
Blame Mark.
Get those nerds! Nerds! What?
It's the best ever.
I love it. All right, so here you go. Some more ships. Look at that. Jimadar
Nice.
battle cruiser, attack ship, Karema ship. Karema. Look how little the divine.
Tough little ship.
The Karema, is that Vorta?
I think it might be. Is that
I think
Vorta
Karema
there,
is
Wolfie?
Vorta, isn't it, Wolfie?
I think it must be.
I'm not sure. That's why I hang around with experts.
Let's see. Anyway, let's see what else we got. There's the Jimadar battle cruiser. Look at that. That's a pretty big sucker right there.
Massive, yep.
Yeah, so
Huge.
cool stuff. Thank you, Wolfie.
Huge.
Always like seeing some ships, buddy.
No, you can't say that, Herc. You got to just say, ooby dooby. Ooby dooby.
Yeah.
Booger.
Ooby dooby. He says top 3 ships are showing what we now know as Dominion ships. Karema are the guys that were trading with Quark. Oh, the Karema. Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
Okay, yeah. The weird people with the
Karema.
purple on their face.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, Karema.
Got you covered, buddy. I remember that.
Yeah. Good. Love,
Yeah.
love.
Well done indeed, Karaba. Says Shooter. Says pronounce Ka-Rama. He says from the episode when they were in the gas giant fighting the Shamatar. Well done, sir. I think I knows what you're talking about.
Eric sent a gift. Eric sent a gift.
Thank you so much, buddy. Said it's a good ship. It's a good ship. Lollipop.
You're quoting the Decker unit.
You love the Decker unit, don't you?
He loves quoting the Decker unit.
Yes. Love the label of the image, including Saturday Night Star Trek. Where I don't see one. Oh, I'm not sure what you mean, Jill. All right. Well, so a lot of fun tonight, everybody. Thank you all. Thanks for being here.
I got
a
very, very quick show and
Mark
tell.
Says he might have something.
Okay.
Should we allow it? Everyone, what do you think? It's got to be in certain guidelines. It's got to be something to do with Star Trek or what?
Well, I got two. Well, yeah, I do get a couple of Star Trek.
Saturday Night Star Trek.
Saturday Night Star Trek. I do, but real quick, don't get into trouble. Well, it was funny because I won the Pinewood Derby Best in Show tonight. I was helping. I run the computers, and I have
Was it a Star Trek Derby? No, I'm just kidding.
No, but I did. So they're like, oh, you did a Star Trek based card. I'm like, no, it's Darth Vader. But I do have some Star Trek things to show too that I got this weekend.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Oops.
What do you have there? Oh.
Well, no, but I did. See, that was my car that I did. Darth Vader,
That's
and
fantastic.
I won. And then they gave me some.
I love it.
Ferrari.
What was the Derby?
Champagne.
Like racing?
Yeah, so we do the Cub Scouts have their
That's
final
a racing car
tomorrow.
thingy?
This is a racing car, yeah, the Pinewood Derby. So tomorrow is the Cub Scouts. So for a fundraiser, they decided, hey, let's
add some, race.
Hang on a second. Sean Carter, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. That's very kind of you. He says, thank you for sharing that model kit info. I just ordered a Mach-E ship from eBay. It'll make a great build for my channel. Well, thank you so much. Are you saying that we enabled you?
We did.
That's
We're
usually Mark's job.
So,
well done, Sean. Excellent. So
they gave me a bottle of Ferrari champagne.
Chateau Picard.
Well, I would definitely put that in the fridge.
Yeah. So
Chateau Picard.
And I came in second place for speed. So I just missed winning for the speed, but this guy won best in show, so that was cool. And this is my Star Trek. So I was in this, we showed some of it on the clubhouse. Yeah, at least it's 3D printed. So I McKay's bookstores. I'm going to do another video on that. We talked about in the clubhouse. But for anyone who didn't see it, this was the Lursa figure that I picked up
right
there. So she'd give Lita a run for her money. There's a red one and there's an orange one too. This is the red one. I think Claude has the red one.
I don't think anyone's looking at her Betleth.
Yeah. So this was the Generations figure set that came out. So I picked that up. I wish I had a
thank
bigger
you so
figure.
much, buddy. MMM says, he says, to say again, thank you for all your support, Clubby, my friend. Well, thank you, my friend, for being here. We want you to just hang in there. And every time we see you show up here, buddy, it gives us all hope and makes us feel good to see you here, my friend. So, MMM, everyone, let's get an MMM in that chat again for Masters.
Yes.
Hey,
you had your office window open today. Restless Leg Spidey is just a giving her.
He's giving her, yeah.
Hey, that's a Canadian saying, Thing is about you, Mark, is you live so far north, you're becoming an honorary Canadian. You say all the perfect Canadianisms now.
You got me.
Oh, you will be assimilated.
That's gonna be a motion picture Klingon.
Well, it's I think.
Is it Generations?
I think it was maybe it was. I looked it up. It's who is this? I'm forgetting my famous Klingons. I looked it up.
He don't look like one of the ones from TNG, but I guess he is. I don't know. I thought it was an motion picture one at first for some reason.
Right.
Like Mark Leonard.
I'm forgetting I gotta look it up again. I'm forgetting who it is. And of course he comes with his Targ.
Oh, he's got a Targ. That's right. Maybe he's Krug. Maybe
Not
he's
as
Trek
cute
3
as
Klingon.
Krug.
Oh yeah, it's probably Star Trek 3. It's Star Trek 3.
He's not Krug. Maybe he's Maltz.
I'll look it up because I'd looked him up before, but you gotta have a Targ, right?
He's in Night Court. He's got a Targ.
You gotta have a Targ.
A Targ. Let's go Targ hunting.
Gold Targ.
General Martok says, let's go Targ hunting.
It's a form of taxidermy. They just dip their Targ in gold. It's the golden Targ.
right? Well,
And
someone in the
that's
chat
what
will
wound
know
up
what
on
Klingon that
the
is.
top of the buildings in the Ghostbusters movie. Little known fact: they're actually golden targs.
They're targs. Oh yeah. Really?
No, I'm
Are
totally
they
kidding.
really? Okay. I
No,
thought they
I'm
were.
just kidding.
So in other words, the line should have been, okay, so she's a targ.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I love you, Chloe.
So she's a target.
Oh, say the wrong thing, Torg. You know, I love how Klingons don't use their sensors in Star Trek 3. I used to buddy of mine used to bitch about that movie so much because why don't Klingons use their sensors? I said, what do you mean?
Feed my targ.
Well, that's what gets you. We were talking about that, the warp drive stuff today and other things, is when they're not consistent and the writers. And of course, we have a series that lasts that long, but it's just when they're. That's what gets you. It's like have a couple lines that explain things and then be consistent. You know, when they kind of said, "Oh, we're forgetting that." Forget, you know, the warp. We can't go above warp 5 or whatever.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, and then they just kind of ignored it because we can't do that. Oh, it's actually it's Galron, the Klingon with gold trim.
Yeah, that's
So
not
it's
Galron.
1992 Playmates Next Gen.
That's not
That's
Galron.
Galron?
Yeah,
And I
that's
would like
Galron.
to send shin kicks, and I would like to send them through the Vulcan rite of or the Klingon rite of ascension. I'd like to put them in the agony booth, and yeah, that's terrible.
Thank you, Shooter. But I'm sorry I've ruined Ghostbusters for you now. She's a targ.
And Wolfie, I don't know if there is a flavored chocolate inside the targ. Yeah.
Yeah, peel the targ. Maybe there's a chocolatey center.
Let's see. I heard you talking about warp drive in a solar system on the way home. They did warp up the planets all the time. Planets? Yeah, warp up the planets all the time. Planets are in solar systems. It's so
That's
ridiculous.
what Clobby and I were saying earlier. It's like what?
I don't understand what they. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, you warp between planets. Well, it's not like the planets are 20 feet from each other, for God's sake.
They are pretty far, but
yeah. I mean, in other words, it's I guess the implication is it's too dangerous because warp drive. Two planets are too close. I mean, they have the technology for years. They know that. For example, I guess, like if you were in orbit of Earth, I guess impulse drive is plenty to take it. How would on impulse drive would it take you to get to the moon? Like 20 minutes, 20 seconds? I mean, 5 minutes? I don't know. I'm sure they got that mapped out. But what if you need to go to Mars colony? You're not going to use warp speed? It'd be crazy. It would take forever, right?
Well, impulse is, I think, 1/4 light speed.
Exactly, but it's not warp
it's like
speed.
3
hours. But it's not supposed to be light speed.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. So if you're on Earth and you're going to Mars, and then you have in a warp society, you're going to use warp speed to go to Mars, right? And that's in the solar system.
And warp is completely different than like breaking the speed of light or whatever.
Right.
I think someone said it was like 3 hours to escape the solar system under full impulse power. I think it's just the writers putting something in there and screwing up and then trying to add drama to the TMP situation, like, oh, we can't go to warp within the solar system.
Wrath the Con, when they pull out of the dry dock, you just go straight into warp speed.
Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. Anyway, the way that my planetarium explains it, the way that my planetarium explains it is that the ability to do warp technology is remote, but theoretically plausible. But Einstein said that we would never break the speed of light, and there are many smart people who agree with him. I'm not an astrophysicist, but I will say that breaking the speed of light, like just building something that goes like so fast, like
how many.
We can send information over lasers and stuff, but I don't think like we'll physically break the speed of light. However, this whole idea of a warp bubble is, anyway,
how
remote.
How many times did he say, Mr. Sulu, take us out of warp? Take us out of orbit? Add warp factor 1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, it's stupid to say that you can't use warp in a solar system. What?
Yeah, I think it was just one of those lines that they put it in, and then just let's ignore that from now on. And that's why it always stuck with me, as I said in the chat, because I said it never made sense to me. But why is that in TMP? So I just wrote, you just write it off as a
no. Yes, I'm saying it doesn't make a lot of mistake. Yeah, because again, almost every time on the old show or even on TNG, they say, "Yeah, take us out of orbit, warp factor, so and so."
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe someone did really like TMP who was writing this and put it in it. That was the other way to look at it, right?
More sloppy writing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nincompoopy. That's nincompoopy.
Yeah, but if you like
Nincompoopery.
TMP, you get a
Nincompoopery.
pass on my
It
end.
is nincompoopery because even the TMP reference, it's about not being able to have the correct intermix. It's not quite as simple as just dilithium crystals anymore. So
Agreed, Cal.
and so they made an emergency phone call to Isaac Asimov and said, "Is this possible? Is this how this would happen plausibly?" And Isaac basically walked them through it over the telephone. So I that's not the same thing as was done in tonight's episode. For tonight's episode, your agonizer, please.
What does this make me think about that old Stephen Wright joke when he said he went for a job interview and the guy was asking him all his questions and he said, "Well, let me ask you something." So the guy said, "Sure." Just, if I were riding in a car at the speed of light and I turned my headlights on, would anything happen? The guy says, "I don't know." He goes, "Forget it. I don't want to work for you." Stephen Wright was also the guy who said, "I bought some powdered water, but I didn't know what to add."
Yeah.
I love Stephen Wright.
Ridiculous.
We got a members chat.
Ronnie G, thank you. He says, I can't read it. I can't see it.
They don't talk about relativity and time dilation.
Yep, sorry, there we go.
They don't talk about relativity. No, they don't. They just say, punch it. In Star Wars, you say, go to hyperspace. Don't worry about all that nonsense. But even in Star Trek, they go, warp whatever. Warp factor 90.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sulu, warp factor 90.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Kevin, what's that comedian, Kevin J. Pollock or whatever? He did back after Trek 4 came out, before Trek 5, he did this routine called Star Trek 5 in Search of Cash. He said, what if all the other, Shatner plays Kirk, but all the other actors all the characters were played by big time actors. So he had like Robin Williams and Christopher Lloyd, all these other actors playing the different characters. It was hilarious. What the hell?
What?
Nothing. No. I thought of something. So anyway, what you got? Any more Star Trek stuff?
Well, there is a lot more Star Trek stuff, but that's what I got on my trip to Nashville.
You know what I mean.
I mean, I know I'm being a while.
We all know you have a lot of Star Trek stuff. Jeez.
If you're inviting him to show his Star Trek stuff, we're gonna be here for a really long
we got to
time.
drink the whole bottle of champagne tonight. Yeah. No, I just thought that'd be fun to show a couple of.
No, it was.
Couple of things.
That. And I'm sorry that was Gowron, because Raquel sure doesn't appreciate that being Gowron.
That's not Gowron. That is not Maya O'Reilly. I don't know what's going on with that.
Raquel, in 1992, the action figures weren't so accurate. We took what we could
in 1992,
get.
If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. I'm sending shin kicks. I want to use Klingon pain sticks up your.
Whoa!
I'm gonna stop.
Stop. But
see, later they got Mator's boobs right, at least, right? So
they did.
Well, sometimes they don't have the right to the actors too, so they can't copy them. But yeah, the face sculpts normally weren't.
I'm sure Robert
they were
O'Reilly
okay,
would
but
have
not
minded.
great. Yeah.
Anti-derivative Jill, you're a sweetheart.
What book would that? Oh, that book. Yeah, that's the greatest book ever. She put a Klingon on that one. Robert O'Reilly's face.
You guys are so sweet to me. I love you all so much. Thank you for supporting me.
You should see what the Ferengi looks like in that series. God.
Oh wow! Imagine what would he look like? Like, do you remember when we used to use silly putty on the funnies? Right. Is that what they did to make Ferengi? Just silly putty on the funnies? That's how they got the face and just.
Thank you, Michael Beacom. You see the $5 super chat. He says, "Warp drive is possible. Check mathematician Al Kuberi." How do you say it? Al Kuberi? What are you gonna?
I'm not sure.
Al Kuberi. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce that, Michael.
That sounds good enough to me, boss.
I was kicked out of 3 kindergartens. Creating a bubble of space with faster than light speeds does not violate Einstein. No, and I wouldn't violate him at all. So, and I'm glad it doesn't. And thank you, Michael.
I don't think that you're supposed to break the speed of light like the way that the
Sean Carter.
planetarium explained it. It's more to like kind of like you're folding space and time.
Alcubierre. Thank you.
I don't believe we're ever going to break the speed of light, but I'm not an astrophysicist. I just
do it all
read
the
them.
time, actually. But I just want to. I do it all the time. I just don't want to make everybody feel bad by being the only one able to do it. Everyone gets jealous and they don't like you if they know you can do something everyone else can't do. So when I break the speed of light, which I do it all the time, I don't tell anyone else about it because they always get jealous. Won't you show me how to do it? I'll say, well, I've tried to show people before, and they won't learn, and then they get mad at me because I'm here running around breaking the speed of light all the time, and everybody else is just jealous. A bunch of jealous pantses. Well, just for that, Mr. Smarty Pants, all of you, I won't show any of you how to break the speed of light. What do you think of that? Like Einstein started that crap with me, and I said, well, just because you're such a snot, I'm not going to teach you how to do it either.
I love that you call people like a name, and when you're calling them a name, you use snot. Okay, like first of all, that's a very vulgar word, and I don't like saying it, but I think it's hysterical because like people born in the silent generation used that word, and I haven't heard it in forever. Like when I was young, I used to hear it all the time, like in the 70s. Like, oh, don't be such a snot. And you say it all the time. It's so cool. Anyways, you have a gift from Larry
I'm on
and
the way.
Sean Carter from Mars.
I'm trying to get there. Don't you tell me about these gifts. I'll send you faster than light into the new instead of the agony booth, it's the faster than light booth. That. I'm starting that one up. Klingon pain plugs. Thank you so much, Sean Carter.
Yeah, I agree. Klingon pain plugs is what we should call them.
What the hell's that? Jesus Christ. Okay. Larry, thank you so much, buddy. He says, like you all. Well, we like the hell out of you, buddy. We love you, man. Thank you so much. That is too kind of you, sir. I am not worthy.
And Eric K says, Raquel, you can fold space to create a wormhole, basically stepping from one part of space to another. Yeah, Eric, that's basically like my understanding of what I watched at the planetarium. So I saw a thing at our planetarium where they talked about all the different science fiction and science fantasy shows, like which ones were most plausible, like Battlestar Galactica and Star Wars and Star Trek and
UFO.
And all these different ways that we're going to travel quickly through the universe. And that's when they brought up that whole idea of a warp bubble, and the warp bubble goes around the ship like it's. I'm not an astrophysicist, but I think that's far different than this
Susan Storm making a bubble when she travels.
You don't want to I think that a lot of lay persons confuse it with breaking the speed of light, and it's my understanding that it's not quite the same thing. One is completely implausible and the other one is plausible, but they're distinctly different. But I'm going to say again, I'm not an astrophysicist. I just saw a really, really wonderful presentation at my local planetarium. And so I think it's exciting that a bunch of scientists got together, and I believe NASA was involved with this presentation, and said, okay, the chances are remote, but this whole warp bubble thing is remote, very remote, but plausible, and the rest of them are all horse hockey. And so and then anyway. So that's my understanding of it, which is very little, almost none. I'm just regurgitating what I saw.
Thank you, Sean Carter. You're too kind. I love Sam Kinison, but you think my voice gets messed up when I do the Gorn. When I do my Sam Kinison, I can't talk for 3 days.
Back to school.
But I love Sam Kinison was a comedy genius beyond belief. I'm nowhere near in his. I don't even try to get into his sphere there. But I do know one thing when it comes to folding space. I can't fold a towel, but I've folded a lot of space before. So, again, nothing to it. I can fold right now. I can fold the space. Boom, right there. Just did it. I have some folds for you, but
folding shirts is not that easy. I mean,
no. Especially, I know. I actually never fold. I just throw them on a pile or something. Don't ever fold them anyway. Like Raquel talks about folding clothes all the time. I'm like, people fold clothes too? Yeah, I like rolling them up. Takes less.
Ew, what?
Just throw them,
Gross.
roll them up and throw them in the closet.
Roll
or
them
whatever
up.
it's called,
Roll
yeah.
the t-shirts. I
Nobody
roll all my
folds clothes
t-shirts
anymore.
I roll
Well,
my
I mean,
t-shirts.
guys
yeah.
don't. Guys never did. Only women ever do that. I don't even fold towels. I just throw them somewhere. You know. I got these stacks. You know, of course, it creates places to hide if you need to. You never know. You never know when you're gonna need that. But kidding. So, well, let's see show notes. Well, first of all, number one, any before I do show notes, any closing words for us?
Yeah, I want to thank everybody in the chat for your marvelous participation tonight. I enjoyed your company immensely. Thank you so much for mixing in here and helping to create all of these conversations and for just being marvelous conversationalists. Clobby and I enjoy your conversation so much on this show. Well, so does Mark. And we love you guys. You guys are just so cool. Please always know how much we appreciate you. I also want to thank the mods. I love you guys. Thank you for protecting the community and making sure we keep it adult, safe, and fun. And I want to thank everyone who is on my Patreon supporting my work. Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Larry, Tony Stark, Chris Persia, Scuba Pete, Eric K. and Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with the C, Jill, and Maximum Redstone. Do you like a classic or episodic science fiction? Then please consider supporting my work and buying my book. And I want to thank Clobby and I want to thank Mark. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Number one, I love having you here. So much fun we have. What a great home we have here with all of us here. And
Larry,
you're too kind, buddy. Thank you so much, my friend. I don't know what to say. I'm definitely not worth it, but man, I just appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And love you too,
did you
Jill.
get your book yet, Larry? I hope you did, honey.
Did you get your book yet, Larry? Let's see. Love you, Clobby, RM, and Mark. We love you, Jill. Absolutely, ishness. So
thank you, Larry.
Mark,
yep.
Any closing words? And
well, it's always great to hang out with everyone. It's always look forward to the Saturday night. Unfortunately, it's a little bit late. I was running the computers, doing my engineering thing. I run the timers for the Parliament Derby, but yeah, always no matter what the episode, it's always good, bad. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys and enjoy Saturday night Star Trek with everyone out there. So really a lot of fun, and thanks. I always enjoy popping in here at the end and extending the show as long as I can by showing stuff. But
we like that.
But
no problem.
We'll have Sunday Night Geekery tomorrow night. I had to reschedule. I did late night Fortnite and I went live with my Sunday Night Geekery stream, so I had to add it again.
That last night.
I boomered it, but at least my mic was on. But yeah, I look forward to hanging out with you, and hopefully everyone can hang out with us, and we're going to talk what happened a week in geek and some food. We'll do some food too, probably.
Yeah.
Talk about my trip to Nashville.
Weeky geeky.
Weeky geeky, yeah.
And food.
And food. Yep.
Well, that's fantastic.
Nashville hot chicken is awesome. I could use it.
Do you have to rub it in? I'm hungry.
I had jambalaya today. It was really good too. So
hey, stop rubbing all your good food in.
Oh, and by the way, the brownies she made too, those were really good. That I had while we were doing the show.
Seriously?
All right, all right, everybody. So let's see here. The usuals as far as shows, and like Mark said, the Geekery, and then tomorrow night, 10 Eastern, and then 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for all of my 4 shows. Monday night, Mark's Comic Stock, Wild Card, Wednesday night, the Clubhouse with Mark and Raquel, and Raquel and Mark, and Raquel and Mark, and Mark and Raquel and Mark, and maybe me. And then, of course, Tuesday nights and Thursday nights, Ace Cast Iron. What's up, buddy? I'm just glad to see you, brother.
Hey, Ace.
Hey, man. Tuesdays in
How we doing, Ace Cast Iron? Can I get an NCC 1701?
Yeah.
Can I get that from you, Ace? How are things going, hon?
Hope you're doing well, brother. Good to see you, man. Tuesdays and Thursday nights, I'm out there hanging out with the great Tom and the Midnight's Edge After Dark Gang at 6 p.m. Central. At 7 Central on Wednesday nights, it's Loki. It's the comic book round table at least three times out of the month. And of course, Friday nights with Nick and the Comic Book Gang, 8:30 Central on Friday Night Comic Talk. So that's about everything, my friends.
Cherry pancakes, Mr. Angel. Are you serious right now?
Buddy?
You're agonizing, please.
Well, what did you say?
He's rubbing it in that he's eating cherry pancakes.
Oh, we can't have that. Sorry, Mr. Angel, but
Your agonizer, please.
No, we do our shout outs because we like to shout you out at the beginning of the show and the end of the show, whether you're still here or not. And our mods, we do them all, whether they're here tonight or not, because we're special to us. The great Eric K., the Bronze Wrencher, and the Puppy Dog.
Kirby!
Done well picking up kids from parties and couldn't listen earlier. That's an NCC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D, but an F. Good to see you
Had
there,
to
buddy.
put that up. Sorry, boss. I just love
Glad
Ace
you did.
Cast Iron.
He's the man. Good to see you there, bro. Hope you're doing well. Chris Persia, the Vindicator Wrench of the North. Buddy, if you're out there still listening, love you, man. Thank you for all you do. The great D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. I don't think he was here tonight, but we love the D. Bud and hope he's doing well. He was here earlier for sure. The great Lord Thoth, and shout out to Lady Thoth. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, my brother. And shout out to your cute puppy doggy you got there.
So cute.
My partner in crime on Earth B, the Wrench Without Fear, the great J-Man. We didn't see our artist tonight, but we hope he's okay. The master of the Clawbony, Hungry Boy, and artist of the great book, Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs, the most wonderful first officer ever. Kal-El, the Wrench of Superness. Good to see you there, my friend. Thanks for being here. We didn't see Maddie's daddy tonight either. A lot of friends weren't here tonight, but I hope they're out there and they're okay. It's all that matters. The wielder of Wrench Mjolnir and Fanty Outsider.
Fanty!
Did you say Apollo popped in earlier? I can't remember.
Yes,
now.
Apollomies, Minion,
Yes,
and
we
the
did.
Pepperoni. We're here.
Okay. Apollo Minion and the Pepperoni was here. Okay, I forgot. I wasn't sure.
Okay, now you
So I
guys are
forgot about
just
it.
being now you guys are just being awful to me. Simply
What are
Steve
they
is
doing?
eating a burrito with chili sauce. That sounds good. Or he had it
Well-
earlier today. And Lenrod
Wow.
is eating cheese popcorn.
Oh,
Again,
my
it would help
goodness.
if you all ate differently than I do, but the fact that you love like cherry pancakes and burritos and cheese popcorn, you're not helping. You're not helping.
What if I mentioned clam pizza? Would that
Oh,
help
gross.
get rid of your
Ski
appetite?
tongues.
See, there you go. See, you're not hungry anymore. I did.
Well, let me get you out of here quick by doing these quickly. After, well, you keep putting stuff up there. Let's see here. Am I supposed to read this?
No, I did not put that up there. I don't know why.
I didn't.
Mark,
Blame Mark.
Mark, did you do that?
Yeah, but Eric K wrote it.
You naughty boy. You're a naughty, naughty
All right,
boy.
everybody. So let me get us out of here, folks, by saying our goodbyes to everyone. Of course, in addition to their crew, the wonderful anti-derivative Jill. Let's see here. Shooter, thank you so much for being here, Shooter. Stuart Mitchell. Let's see. Classic Comics. Brian Hepburn. Pleasant Valley Picker. Dave G. Sound. SB 4H. Gwagnar. Lisa, lovely Lisa, thank you for being here tonight with us. Max Redstone, thank you for all the entertainment. What was it? Oh, big shout out to the great enigmatic drop bear who could not make it tonight, but he said he may listen later on a download. Shout out to you and shout out to all the lurkers out there. Thank you for lurking and thank everyone who was here listening, who's listened later on repeats and downloads. We really appreciate you. Don't say it enough. Thank you so much. The great Wolfie, and thanks for the pictures and the contribution, my friend. Really appreciate you. In case he listened and wasn't able to check in, Tyrell72. If you hear this, buddy, shout out to you, my friend. John Rupus Shaggy, Snail Messiah, Rob Altus, Boosh McFadden, Daniels Hot Topics, Grim, The Thing, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and they called him Scuba Pete, and my cousin David Rayburn, Kirk 130, JT Kirk, Larry. I want to stop myself real quick. Thank you so much, Larry. I really appreciate you, man. You're too kind. Thank you for your kind contributions. And another very kind gentleman who couldn't be here tonight because I happen to know he is partying for his birthday, even though his birthday was a couple of days ago. He's having a huge events for it. Our great buddy Gil, the Cardinal Sin, our really good friend. Happy birthday to you, I know you're out there just getting hammered and having some fun tonight. And I hope just be safe doing it. And thank you for all you do. Mega Cropper, Pod Racing Palpatine, the Tetrarch of Apathy. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining. Keely Charles Roll Tide, Captain James C. Skywalker, Simply Steve, Katie, lovely Katie Dax, Mr. Tickle Trunk, Blunt Filler Reviews, DVB, a new friend, Picasso, Admiral Teague, Jerry Lahane, Dadman and the Dadman Clan, Masters Maniac Mexico. Hello, my good friend. And, thank you so much.
Dave!
Yep, Dave is here. Hey, Dave. Good to have you. Okay, where were I? Dave. Sorry, I got behind something. I lost my place. Lemon Pie. Gap to Infinity and Beyond. Linrod. Mr. Angel. Hey, Chef. Thank you, Chef. Michael Carney. Claude Selling. Michael Beacom. And shout out to Cassandra. DJ Ronnie G. Almost there, folks. I'm having my notebook isn't cooperating. Sorry. Sean Carter, thank you so much. The Woke Breaker, the great Ace Cast Iron, and of course Dave. Thank you so much, Dave. Thank you all for being here tonight. I cannot thank you enough, but I'll keep trying anyway. I'll always keep trying to thank you enough. Have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. And now I will play us out with our wonderful message and credits, all courtesy of the great R.M. Briggs. Good night, everybody. Keep on clobbering and keep on trekking. Almost forgot. 4 more episodes next week of Deep Space Nine. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy. Have a great night. Oops. Bad bus move.